You totally can. You totally can.
Let's go
I have a
house to
quest
house.
I'm following.
Yeah.
I know which quest.
See, and I want to hear you. I want to hear you describe what that is. What Palindor wants, what he wants to deal with, where he wants to go, and the same kind of goes for everybody, right?
I mean, step number 1 is to find armor, like this chick in the picture. I mean, that's step 1.
Okay. Yep.
So
in the
take
picture.
off your current.
Oh yeah, Jeff. Yeah, join the roll 20, Jeff. The rolls.
Ace's quest is to
20s.
To the best of her ability, thwart Palindor's quest.
Which is why I am no longer telling you what.
No, you already
quest
told me.
is.
The jig's up. You want
Hey,
armor like this.
Hey, you gotta separate Kyle knowledge from Ace knowledge.
Yeah.
All right.
Ace
Ace
just
doesn't know
wants to
anything.
armor
Doesn't
you up
know-
even more.
Doesn't know anything about that. You like how it pecks in the beard and Brugark's up on a thing getting cut in half?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Nice.
And Raelian's face is bleeding all over the snow.
Oh, what the fuck?
And Ace is comfortably sitting in the background.
Yeah, just casting all her magics. Oh, can I be sleeping? How do I tilt myself?
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking a nap from casting everything.
I got you. Hold on. Let me see if I can plus the sleep.
Well, at least I didn't take as much damage as Brugark.
You got
Yeah,
cleaved
Brugark
in
got
two.
cut. Brugark was dead, and then he remembered that he had a passive for being a half-orc.
I mean, Raelian, or Jeff, did you hear about what happened to Raelian?
Wait, why don't you guys recap him?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happened.
I have amnesia. Help me out.
I
would too after that.
saved Raelian's ass so many times. You owe me a life debt now.
Wow.
That's true, actually. That's pretty true.
Wasn't I +1 for Peter Panning off a tower?
A tower Peter panned right on top of you. I wish I were kidding.
Specifically into your face.
I seriously
Quite
think-
literally in your face. Palindor blocked part of a stone frozen guard tower that was flying at you, let's say 60 miles an hour, give or take, and
my God.
deflected a lot of it the first time, but the second time,
The second
You
time,
just
dude,
ate it.
I tried. You stuck your head out when you shouldn't have.
yeah,
God
Maybe
bless
don't do
Laughing
that.
Deer.
yeah, exactly.
Just imagine like the pointed end of a roof on a cylindrical tower just going right into his face.
Oh man,
And
Jeez.
everything compressing into that point.
yeah, it got a little nasty in there.
Your
Got
nose took the
a
brunt of it.
little-
But I will say this: Fiddy was doing your rolls justice, though.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
For
yeah.
the most part, he was rolling like a Raelian. That was pretty. Same,
That's right.
Same on Hush. Jeez.
Yeah,
Hush.
two of you
Felt
guys.
right at home.
I used all the good rolls on you motherfuckers. Otherwise, half these guys would be dead, I think.
If that other giant didn't trip and fall down, we'd be dead. For sure.
Well, the fireball and the other things really kind of helped loosen things up a bit.
He was definitely down for like 3 turns because you were being generous.
Wow. I rolled things. I rolled some things.
He's spending a turn to get back up. I was like, yes, we're alive.
Well,
Yeah,
he got back up and then climbed on a roof and then was ready to
Brilliant.
fuck some shit up again.
If you had thrown a third giant into the mix, we would have all died. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we would have all died.
Yeah. I
I
felt
love
like
that
I
too.
felt like it was a pretty balanced fight. Like, I mean, there was some very, very real death potential in there that was
I
fucking
questioned it
barely averted.
several times, barely averted.
Yeah, I didn't pull
How'd
any.
the,
I didn't pull any dice punches. I tell you what. I mean, if you guys prefer it, I mean, I can do public dice rolls. I don't give a fuck.
No. Yeah, I like the mystery.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah, that makes it so much harder.
I really have no qualms with killing anybody at this point.
Although-
Like we're
although-
we're way past tutorial mode.
You are gonna have to do public dice rolls with me from time to time now. My new ability.
Oh.
I can
Yeah.
roll a d4 and then change any
Oh, yeah,
dice
yeah,
roll I want. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you would roll the d4 and then let's see how it works. What
It
spell is
allows
that
me
again?
to. I can't remember. But it says I can look at the dice roll and then determine if I want to do it before
okay.
or after. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here.
Which is it's pretty meta. I don't really like that. So I'm just gonna like, if you say like, oh my god, he fucking nailed it, like, then I'm gonna be like, no, he didn't.
Okay. All right.
How'd the fight start?
Yeah.
Big question. Let me tell you a
Yeah.
tale.
You guys
Recount the tale.
You guys have sort of, you've headed back to the tavern that you started in, which was Kelvin's Comfort in the town square there.
I hope the
And
bartender's still like rubbing his hand.
Yeah.
Where it got acid splash.
Ace kicks the door open and
It
waltzes in.
it was notably bandaged, but on account of you all helping to save the town, he's allowed Ace back in as long as she's kept under close scrutiny by her companions, who are now being held accountable.
Ace is in rare form.
Chaperones, essentially.
She strolls up to the nearest table and climbs atop, and she goes, "Everyone, gather around and listen to what just happened."
I will say before you made it there, the sheriff, Markham, kind of looking quite wounded himself, with like one arm just limp and just totally his face bloodied and brutalized. Sheriff Markham Southwell, kind of like limps up to you all with Augie, the little dwarf admirer, sort of assistant guard, and a few of his other guards and attendants. And he's kind of got this letter that you can tell he was trying not to smear some of his blood on, but he's got one of those cuts that just keeps reopening. But he hands you this sort of tied up parchment, and you open it, and he looks like he's trying to open it, but then he kind of hands it to Augie, who sort of takes the tie off and opens it up, and it's basically a letter with a sort of anointment on it. It says, "Defenders of Icewind Dale," and he kind of looks at you and he says, "I'd like to present this to you all for your help in defending our city, just one of the 10 towns that make up the core of Icewind Dale. Your deeds here this morning will not go forgotten." And it's signed and stamped with a seal, with his name on it. It says Sheriff of Bryn, Shander. It says, "You present this letter to anyone in any of the other 10 towns, and they'll know that the title is true, and that you should be treated with respect and honor." And he kind of just nods and says, "Now, I've got to go see to some of these wounds," and he kind of just shuffles off with some of the other guards. He says, "Oh yeah," spits up a little bit of blood into the snow. If you bring me any more giant heads after this day, I'll see that you're handsomely rewarded."
Quest accepted.
Yep.
Very well.
Yeah.
We shall accept your quest.
I'm playing Hush now, by the way.
Oh, that's not Hush's voice.
Oh, I know.
Very well. We accept your quest.
That was good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I missed that voice.
Yeah.
Mister.
I can definitely not do that voice today.
Your voice, man.
So, did we loot the giants? Did we find anything?
Oh, did you?
Well,
Yeah,
Why don't you tell me?
We looted all of them.
All right. Well, okay. Let's take a few steps back.
Yeah.
And why don't you all?
Oh, flashback.
Flashback. So you all are the morning after your arrival. The same night where Ace was taken off to a jail. I guess this is we double headed, right? So I mean, I don't think was Raelian there when Ace got thrown into a jail cell.
Do you know what any of this happened? You knew about that.
Well, I heard about that because Fiddy asked what I was gonna do.
Oh yeah.
And I said that what did I say? I was gonna tell Palandor about what I had noticed.
With Sister Grail. Yeah.
Right.
He was really drunk.
Yeah.
Well, you stayed out all that night, and Palandor went to the house of the Triad, which is the temple of the Triad, and Peck and Brugark and Hush, Ace. Wait, you went too, right, to the tavern?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Ace was in jail. That's right.
I was at the tavern and then went to jail.
So the three of those guys went to a tavern where,
Yeah, I forgot about
we
that.
found out that Peck, when he borrowed money to start his adventuring, he borrowed a lot of money.
A lot of money. A lot of money from a very, very scary thieves guild.
We kind of found the guild and maybe sort of the bookkeeper, maybe.
And a
just
little
fighting
bit. There's a
in a
fighting
giant
pit there.
fighting pit.
A little underground Fight Club action.
I want to
Yeah.
go there. Can we go there?
But they
mean,
ended
you
up
could.
leaving. Thankfully, did not get seen. And then they came and snuck inside the temple, where Palandor took all of Peck's ammo.
Except for 2 shots.
Well, Palandor thought he had taken it all because he didn't want him to shoot up the whole place. And then they went. That's important for later on.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you want me to keep going?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're rocking
Okay,
it.
so then,
rocking
so
it.
then they went. We all went that next morning. We went to the town square. Well, really, it was like the town hall.
It's kind of like a
I guess.
town hall meeting, basically.
Town hall.
Yeah.
Oh,
Giant
Peck-
town hall meeting.
Peck snuck
Equal
off.
parts farmers market town hall meeting. No.
Peck was gone. He snuck off.
Yeah, Peck snuck off, and then Brugark tried to sneak off too. Brugark saw a guy that was very suspicious looking, and he didn't tell anybody, but he just kind of snuck off, so that was really helpful. And then, not being sarcastic, and then let's see, Palandor and Sister Garail told the speaker of the town all of our adventures up to this point, while Ace was down in the dungeon beneath the town center, where she got up to some shenanigans per the norm of Ace.
There's a guy outside that we met coming in, and I was imprisoned with him.
Yeah, he was in the same place. And so she cast like mirror image and looked just like him and pulled a bunch of shenanigans for the rest of the night. We both do this. Whatever it was that they did.
I charmed him, so he had to do whatever I did.
So that's when the giants came and attacked, and they started throwing rocks into the town hall. And then, let's see, Beldora, I believe it was, who was the girl that Sister Garail met, revealed that she had a plan and a strategy with the cart that she was pushing, which was the cart that Raelian saw that night. And it was basically a giant, I don't even know, it's
fucking
not a catapult, but it's like a giant crossbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that could shoot.
Yeah. There you go.
It could allow. It had elven rope. Then the elven rope was basically like steel, but it allowed us to be able to quickly accelerate and get to the giants when we needed to, and that's when the giant fight broke out. Yeah,
Cool.
We had some epic ace shots, and Peck shot the giant dude.
In the dick.
There was lots of shenanigans. It was like, what, 3.5 hour fight thing?
Yeah, it was.
Raelian
It was pretty crazy.
unloaded several arrows.
It's actually like 5 hours.
Well, the fight.
It was like a 5
No, because it was like
session.
12:30, and the giants were like basically attacking the town. I was like, so do you want to do this now or?
Oh, we did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would never have lasted. I think I went to bed at like 11 o'clock that night.
That's when we started this shit.
Yeah, we killed the main giant guy that wanted to kill everybody and get the guy. I forgot his name already, but I have it written somewhere.
There were like 10 giants surrounding the town.
Simba.
Yeah. Yes, that guy.
Oh yeah, Art House Sinbad.
Yeah.
Yes, Art House Sinbad.
Yeah.
Third. First of his name.
There you go.
And he's a human, by the way, but he supposedly has very long enduring life.
We needed to put him on a pole or some shit.
Palandor has a theory about that, but
man, look at the size of those.
Dude, they're 40 feet tall. Pet climbed in his beard.
These guys are about, I think it's 26 feet tall.
Guys?
Huh?
Which ones?
The giants?
Uh-oh.
What?
Fiddy?
What?
One of the giants still has some life left to him.
Oh.
We must kill him.
Oh no.
Oh no. Palandor flashes a blade in the air.
Oh.
Ace Japanese clasped it as it comes down.
Let's take a little jump back in real time here. When you're all standing around Brugark, almost cut in half, amazingly somehow his nestled baby griffin is still alive and not cut in half. Giant must have,
that would have been a good swing.
Giant must have just missed. But Brugark himself barely clinging on to his very life. Raylene, your face has been rearranged by giant piece of guard tower that came flying out of nowhere up above. And two giants and a pair of large winter wolves all lay dead or dying at your feet in the snow.
Is Ace right up in front of this thing?
None of you were really right up in front of the big guy. You were mostly engaged with his second here, which was the last giant that you all had struck down.
Ace looks over to Palandor. Shall we question this one? And then starts stomping off towards the big one.
Yeah, Peck, I need your medallion if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, I've got one
Or
too.
you can come with me. And
he says he'll trade it back to you for the rest of his ammo.
Yeah, very
Can
well.
Ace just translate? Can I translate for you?
Yeah, you can, but this is more fun.
No, it's more fun if I translate. Trust me.
Palandor can take one of the.
Ace doesn't know that Palandor has the medallion.
That's true too. Yeah.
That's true.
Don't meta this shit, man.
Yeah, dude.
What? I'm not metaing. I'm
Get
saying.
out of here.
What?
Get out of here. All right, give me 1 second, please. One second right here.
In fact, I'm so not meta that I don't know that you have it, so I'm gonna translate for you anyway.
Oh yeah, no, that I was hoping. That's what
All
I was
right,
hoping
good.
for.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you guys see me moving this in real time, or is it just a wait for me to let go of my icon?
Are you moving it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Ace,
now I do. Yeah.
Ace stomps off towards the giant. And hopefully everyone else is going. You like that stomping motion?
I do. Well, several of you see the. It almost looks like the snow's kind of gathered up on the face down, much larger giant. There's this massive ivory horn just laying in the snow. Looks like it fell out of his hand or off of the side of his belt. But you see like bits of snow kind of moving in the distance as you just sort of finish putting down this other slightly smaller frost giant. What do you do?
Wait a minute. So the big one was holding an ivory horn?
Yeah.
And we see shit in the distance moving?
You're all like in this main thoroughfare road that goes through from the southwest gate to the town square. You literally have just finished fighting these giants and their wolves. Like in the distance all around you on this cold, snowy morning, you can kind of hear the sounds of other numerous battles taking place. You could presume at all the different sort of guard towers or gates that, sort of make up the circular walls of the city. There's distant horn blasts, there's screams, clashes, sounds of magic. Everyone is rallying together at different spots throughout the city, taking on their own sort of battles, trying to defend the walls. And so while you all sort of catch your breath and look up at each other, you can see that the biggest giant, the one that you had first felled, who had smashed through the gates initially and had been sort of treating these wolves like his own 2 pet dogs, was laying face down in the snow. The snow itself was just building up on top of his, what you presume to be, dead body. But you start to see that snow drift, start to lift and move a little bit. Not much, but enough to indicate that this guy's probably still alive.
Alright,
What
Ace
do?
extends her hand out to Poundor as if beckoning for a high five or a low five.
Yeah, Palandor is just so tired at this point from falling 30 feet and almost dying that he just, like...
Alright.
Clicking things.
Alright, let's go.
Okay.
Very well.
And then we stomp over.
I pick up some snow and hold it to my face.
Oh, good call. Your nose is probably upside down.
Yeah.
Ow!
Yes. Okay. You walk up.
I'm
I do
assuming
have
this
that
thing
in
is
mind.
like face down
You do.
with its head looking forward, and we're just kind of standing in front of it.
Yeah. So he's like, his face is looking out from the town, out of the southwest gate, away from you all initially.
All right, I want to stand in front of him with Poundor.
Okay. So you walk around him and then come up on him,
Palandor
standing in
follows,
front.
but keeping an eye out around them because he knows there's other giants and he doesn't want to get ambushed.
Okay.
All right, Ace. How'd that feel, buddy? Yeah, we got plenty left in us too.
He's kind of like just barely opening his eyes, realizing that none of his pets or his companions are around him, and he starts. You can see him. Where is Artis Simber? And to you, Raelian, I believe you don't really make out what he's saying, but Palandor and Ace, you can hear their words clearly.
Well, I need to find my notes.
Is that because of my distance or language?
That's because he's speaking in giant.
Ah.
Ace, ask him why he attacked our city. Ask him if it was to find this Artis Simber person.
All right. Ace nods. Yeah,
Sorry?
I'm trying to. Oh, I think there's a maximum. Oh no, there's not. Never mind. Artis Simber. All right. My friend here would like to know why you guys were attacking the town, and what is Artis Simber to you?
Okay. You can see him kind of like clutching and just almost grabbing it, just digging his fingers into the ice. He looks up and he says, Charles Storvald shall plunge this world into the coldest age of ice that small folk have ever seen or born. And we will recover the ring from Simba and make it so, restoring the glory to the frost giants. He kind of starts spitting up blood and seems like he can't really hold his giant head up much longer.
Ace goes shh, puts her finger up to his big old lips. Goes, here, have shh, and she have one of these, and she takes a good bearing. She puts it right in his mouth, and kind of pushes up on his jaw. Like, have one of these.
Sorry, what are you giving him?
I gave him a good berry.
He doesn't look like his arms are like able to even move right now. It's like if you imagine like both your arms were just completely frozen or broken and he had just face planted
Yeah, I dropped it in his mouth, and I'm pushing his jaw.
So you're just pushing it in?
Yep.
Kind of like...
Yep.
And spits out, like, the puny berry. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably just shove it through a gap in one of his big fucking teeth. He is clearly not moving his arms at the moment.
Look, you bitch. Have one of these. And she picks up the good berry. It's like, this is from the forest. This is good for you. And she throws it back in his mouth through the gaps. He holds his lips shut.
So
And his nose.
Just trying to choke it down?
Grab his nose, Palindor.
Palindor's just looking on with amusement. Like, well, he doesn't, like, he tries to hold back a smile, like just a little bit of one, because he's so tired and somewhat delirious at this point.
Ace comically wrestles his lips, like, ah! Like trying to keep it in there.
Ooh. The white dragon appears, and
oh shit!
Wow.
Looks pissed off.
Looks pissed.
Did he swallow?
You can tell he's really trying. He's really trying to not eat and or swallow this, but if you're forcing it down, it's going down.
I'm forcing it down. He's taking that good berry.
Okay. If there was something else happening, I lost it in the middle of the force feeding of the shitberry.
Nope.
Ace, what did he say?
He says he wants to kill everyone and he wants a ring.
A ring?
Yeah.
What ring?
I look back towards the giant. What is this ring to you? Why do you need this thing?
You're speaking using the
giant.
amulet. Okay.
Yeah, using that. And if you don't answer quickly, I'll give you another.
Nurse you back to health
I'll
with my
heal
good
you.
berries.
I'll heal you back. Yep.
He almost seems surprised as he realizes he's been speaking his native tongue with you. But the look quickly vanishes from his face, and he's kind of just searching. You kind of see his eyes darting a little bit. He just sort of repeats kind of what he was saying before. It just says, "Our Jarl has sent us to recover this ring, and we will find it, no matter where it's buried."
Quest accepted.
Ace looks forward. There's no I in we, and then she kind of like slaps his nose like really hard. Look, buddy, you're not gonna.
He kind of lets out like a, and it's almost like a frozen blast of air that chills you all to your bones, or anyone who's standing in front of his face.
Palindor drops the whole charade of not pretending like he doesn't know Giant and just says, "Where is your Jarl now?"
Oh shit! I look back at Palindor like, this whole time?
He looks up at you defiantly and says, "Our Jarl is where he needs to be, quickly ascending to the top of the ordning."
Top of the ordning?
Cool.
Yeah.
He's kind of just looking at you like just these weak little insects standing around him.
I mean,
with
clearly,
your annoying questions.
We could never stand up to your Jarl, so why are you so afraid of telling us where he is? We're just...
He looks at the tiefling and says, This one gets it." And he keeps his focus on Palindor. He says, I recall you. You fought bravely, little human. You but it's clear you respect the strength of your superiors.
Palindor, you gonna let him talk to you like this little like a bitch? You respect him?
How dare you say that? I mean, clearly, His kind is far superior to our own. Just look at him. He's the size of one of our walls. How could we ever hope to stand up to the giants? Perhaps if he tells us the location of where his Jarl is, we can plead for mercy from and maybe perhaps we can help them.
These giants may be tall, but we're standing taller than they are right now.
What language are you speaking in right now?
Well, I'm whispering in. So the first part is in Giant. Palandor is whispering it to Ace, and then he towards the end he realized he pulls a feint and is like, oh, and then he switches over to Infernal. Talks to Ace.
Oh, Infernal? Fuck me. This is a night of surprises.
How have you not known that
I don't know. You've never talked to me. You've never gotten to know me in my own tongue, man.
Oh. Is that turning you on? What is that doing there?
Yeah, this is a real conversation we're having right now.
Yeah.
If it's not like really obvious that Palandor is trying to flatter the fuck out of this guy to get information, I can be more obvious if you want to.
Yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, but Ace just wants to assert dominance over him. Yeah. She does nothing. She waits for a response.
Okay.
And she also kind of mutters Palandor, why don't you tell me, you new Infernal?
So Palandor, you're laying it on fairly thick. I'd like you to make a persuasion check.
Oh shit! Here and I'm gonna need to know what the roll is on this persuasion check.
Okay.
Is it just a?
That's one of your skills.
Oh, I got all my shit restored too. I can crazy throw on this. You're gonna be persuasive, boyo.
Hold on, I'm trying to find.
Palandor rolls a natural 2.
What do you mean you got your shit
Normal
restored?
persuasion, or is it just a charisma? I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
It's just a skill.
Yeah. My bad.
Okay, yeah, that's alright.
Nailed it, is what you did.
Ooh. Well, it's the one on the left, so that would be he rolled a 7 plus 5.
I'll do it. I'll persuade him. I'll take 2 of my points away.
I mean, it's Palandor is the one actively engaging in this sort of conversation here.
Wait, what? What's the ruling here? You're not letting me change it? Change the fate?
Oh, I mean, are you saying that you're trying to change the fate, or are you trying to say that you want to go try to persuade the giant?
No, I'm changing the fate.
Okay, now that I'm good with.
Yeah.
So how does this shit work? What are you doing?
I take 2 sorcery points away, and then I can roll a d4. I think is the deal.
Is that a level 6 thing?
It is.
So
in flashback mode, I'm not level 6.
No, man.
Okay.
Y'all need to heal, recover, and spend some time in town for that.
All right,
to
flashback
take
mode.
effect.
I slap Palandor on the butt and good luck, bud.
Okay. All right, so give me the last sort of version of the little persuasion pitch, fake out, laying it on thick here in Palandor mode.
Ace, stop speaking that way. Clearly they are far superior to our...
And then he switches to Infernal. And then... Ace, just let me try this, okay?
What does the Infernal sound like? Is it good enough? Ace's eyes widen. She's like, ooh. Which means yeah, okay.
yeah, all right. Hopefully he doesn't speak Infernal.
Oh god.
He
too funny.
he seems hesitant, but as if he's. You could probably interpret it so many ways. Maybe he believes you. Maybe he realizes that his time is short. But whatever the case, your little play seems to be working. You've got one captive audience member here, And he holds for a few when he says, the Jarl is with the long ships. More and more they build in the sea of moving ice. But no one will go to him until they have a ring to present. Perhaps you and your formidable friends could find this ring for me. And he kind of like scans around, trying to see whichever members of you are within his eyesight, since he can't really lift up or turn his head fully about. He's only got this like limited sort of cone of vision in front of him, looking out the gate.
Alendor immediately acts like,
Oh, how dare you ask such a thing?
like he's very obviously acting guarded.
What did he
Hopefully-
ask? I'm sorry.
Hopefully not too obvious. Almost offended.
And what, giant? Why should we bring?
Oh no,
Ring.
your mic's cutting out, Dave.
Popped out.
And why, giant? Should we take this ring? To your Jarl?
Palador.
He's processing your words, and then he looks you right in the eyes. Right in the eyes.
Ooh.
But his head can't move, so it's kind of
His-
like.
Well, yeah, he just kind of looks up. His glowing, cold blue eyes. And he says, more and more ships we build. More and more eggs we hatch.
Yeah.
We will scour this place you call the Sword Coast. And we will find this ring if we have to turn over every last little village and city you've built. So that, dear friend, is your motivation.
And if we bring your Jarl the ring, he will spare us? What guarantees?
Let's just say, should we have the ring, we won't need to dig through your little villages and towns for it anymore. Call that a small victory for you if you like.
Ace looks over to Palador. I don't know that we're getting any more useful information out of this guy.
Both of you who speak giant, sorry Raelian, can make an insight check if you like.
Oh, good.
I will make an insight check. If I knew where it was.
A double 16.
Oh, there it is.
Very well.
Yeah, take that, black dice.
And then the blackness. And I love it. Ace is like just coming in and out of this conversation. She's like, she thinks her amulet might be frozen or something's wrong with it. Like the reception keeps going out. Like she's hearing like every other word in giant and every other word translated. That's what you get when you try to have real-time translation earbuds, Pixel 2. Okay. But Palandor, you hear everything quite clearly, and while the proposition of frost giants building long ships and ravaging the entire Sword Coast sounds awful, and putting a stop to that sounds great, you can't help but recall the part that was said sometime between now and a while ago about them wanting this ring so that they can plunge the entire realm into a eternal ice age. So, up to you. How you want to play that?
But I like the cold.
You can tell he's sincere in that he definitely wants you to find this ring for him. But beyond that, it's hard to gauge how they're going to act. You don't think that the other sort of frost giants who are under this Jarl are going to be stopping their search anytime soon, unless you somehow miraculously find this ring.
How is his breathing at this point? Is he mostly dead?
It's getting pretty heavy. Although the shitberry, upon being forcefully, is swallowing
that was a legit berry.
It seems like he's not dying anymore, but he is definitely near dead.
Palandor, I need to ask you a favor. I need to ask you to turn around until I say so. And then Ace casts Suggestion on Palandor, converting 3 of her points into a spell.
And is the suggestion to turn away?
Yep, to turn around until I say so.
Okay, I'm not even gonna roll this because Palandor wants justice. Okay, he always wants that, and he knows that this giant has to die, but he also doesn't want to willingly, like, I don't know,
murder
like he doesn't
it?
want a public execution. So almost like subconsciously, he just accepts the suggestion.
Oh shit! All right, that was easy.
But
Okay.
only for that one thing, only to turn away, like almost like he gets distracted for a second.
Ace kind of like Jesus poses, and then bear hugs the thing's face and starts to absorb. It's still alive. I sacrifice it to my suit. It can't move. It's prone. I'm bear hugging it. It's alive. All the criteria are met. I absorb it into my suit. Palandor's looking away willingly.
The look on Fiddy's face.
He's like, fuck.
Shit. I knew you good buried for a reason. I knew it.
I needed him alive.
Okay.
Not dying on his own accord.
What form were you wearing your suit in?
It's kind of like the broachy thing. It kind of looks like a trench coaty, dressy kind of thing.
Okay.
Like feathers out.
Right. Raelian, Brugark, Peck, and Beldor, some of the others in the back are all still gathering their composure, trying to heal what they can, put Raelian's face back on. Brugark is looking at the just giant gaping wound cleaved into the side of his torso. And really at this point, it's only Ace and Palandor interrogating the giant, since they had the 2 amulets and no one could understand them anyway. And it was really only Palandor who had, line of sight of this body, but he looks away to go examine the other giant's body and the other 2 wolf corpses laying near it. And Ace, describe to us how you're proceeding here.
I give it a big bear hug, and I start to kind of melt into his face, and his face kind of like envelops around me, and then it explodes into blood, and there's a reverse shadow of blood behind me, and then I'm just standing there like this, and he has no face, and then some sort of magic shit happens with my suit that the DM knows.
Yeah. So there's almost like a ripping and separation of just cellular material and blood and pieces of flesh, as it almost feels like your suit's having a hard time ripping the mask of this guy's face from the skeleton. It starts to kind of pull and tear where there's wounds a little bit, almost inviting you to use some sort of sharp object to help sort of flay the flesh around the jawline, kind of go from the lobe of the ear underneath like the jutting big gigantic jaw.
Ooh.
Ace does just that. She looks at her hands. She understands she's having trouble. She looks at her hands, and her fingernails sharpen and then she starts to go like this as she's bear hugging around, and then the face of this thing starts to peel off.
There's something strange that happens. There's like this boiling in your blood from the wild magic that is within you, and you can almost feel it like lingering for a little bit after you sort of suggest to Palandor that he examine the others. But instead of just replenishing all of your magic within you, you can kind of feel it take this sort of dark tinge, almost like that little vomit, like I'm about to vomit feeling like you get sometimes if you've had too much to drink. There's like you can almost there's like the euphoria of the magic coursing through you, and it's had these strange effects before, but this time there's like something almost vile about it, but in a way that I imagine Ace almost welcomes.
Oh yes.
And you can kind of feel this mingling with like these weird almost alien black Spider-Man suit tendrils that sort of form and reach out from like the large coat like apparatus that your skin suit form is currently in. And as you sort of willingly go along with this internal suggestion to just start carving the flesh of this thing's face, your suit sort of absorbs it and almost takes it like a weird mask over your own face before it kind of just pulls down along your own cheekbones and chin, and then it seems to just absorb into the neckline of your skin suit coat and disappear. And there's kind of a strange feeling, like a slight change in your blood. It feels like it's thickening, darkening. You kind of think back on your previous acquisitions, and you didn't really feel it so clearly at the time, although you did feel something. And it's starting to feel thicker and more clear now, as if the repeated act of feeding this thing that you wear appears to be causing it to intermingle with your own being. And you don't really know what that means, but maybe you like it, maybe you're concerned about it.
Ace is concerned, but gives in to the happiness and delight.
Okay. Palandor, you, upon examining some of the other corpses, Raelian, you can kind of see him stumbling forward a bit towards you, his face looking only partially fucked up at this point.
Mine or his?
Raelian's face.
Cool.
You see that the other giant near Palandor, Raelian, the two of you kind of see that it was carrying this large sack. Just big old burlap sack. And really nothing else other than just the really strange barbaric armor and horned helmet and this axe and stuff. All things way too big for any of you to make practical use of.
I'd like
what would you like to
stagger over there and
Yeah.
take a look.
All right.
I'm moving over there as well. I don't know where my...
Ace would like to suggest non-spell casting, like regular, to Palandor. Perhaps you could use some of this
You're busy.
armor.
You are busy
shit.
doing your thing. This is a parallel thing.
All right.
So, let's see. I would like both of you to roll 1d6, Raelian and Palandor.
How do you do that?
Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
We both die.
We both discover magic rapiers.
I always expect that. I always expect to roll the dice. Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
You've died.
Magic rapiers.
Palandor, since you rolled first, you find a giant bone-shaped comb, as if made of bones and intended to comb through a gigantic head of hair.
It's useless on him now. He's all fucked up.
A comb. I thought you said a cone.
No.
I was like,
comb like a hair comb. You also find a giant-sized skinning knife made of similar bone material.
okay,
User
when you
joined your
say
channel.
giant knife,
Hey.
how big is this giant?
Um.
Is it like a sword to me, or is it like a legit knife I could use?
Oh, it is much larger than a sword you could use. I think.
Okay. Just keep going then.
Yeah. You also find the blade of a large hand axe, which is more normalish sized. And then there is a carved stone statue of a dwarf. Looks unfinished and rough, but like legitimately the size of a real life dwarf.
Wait, we found a blow-up doll of a dwarf?
No, like a stone statue of a dwarf-sized dwarf.
Well, it's
Dildo of a
medieval
dwarf.
times, man. You take what you get.
Yeah.
Eh?
It looks pretty old. You can't really
Wait,
tell what kind of material it's made of.
Aren't there legends of resurrecting dwarves from stone or something?
You also find a iron bell, more normal-sized item, not gigantic.
An iron bell.
Yeah. Aurelian.
Is this the equivalent of a loot box? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay.
A gigantic, weird loot box.
Oh, I see those 20s. 50? Oh, alright, so 20s.
Damn, you're a
Aurelian,
dude.
you find a half-filled cask of ale.
Ooh!
Smells pretty strong.
Meant for peck.
You find quite a specimen of a large, beautifully horned buck, perfectly stuffed, as if like it was some sort of hunting trophy. Again,
Wait,
this was
a taxidermy
there's a taxidermied
buck?
buck.
Okay. Half a cat. Oh, I'm writing this stuff down.
Yeah, write it down. Several dead fish
Hold on.
that smell awful. Really fucking awful.
This be Aurelian's new icon.
Uh-huh.
A gigantic sized water skin filled with very, very cold, almost slushy like ice water.
Refreshing.
It is
And-
ice water
and-
or
and-
like ice water.
Yeah, it's like slushy, because it's definitely like a water skin filled with water at some point.
It's pee.
Okay.
But it's cold out. Very, 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 very cold out. And very fittingly, and I did not plan this,
No! A short sword?
a bag of dried mushrooms.
Ooh!
Oh.
It's just-
I'd like to
Odds
roll
of
an
that.
insight check.
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
The odds of that are 1 in 50.
Jesus. That's Aurelian's rolls.
Yeah.
Can I?
Are they large mushrooms? Are they giant-sized mushrooms?
No.
Are they?
I mean, they're
familiar to me?
big, but they're not like
Do I-
giant sized.
Do I know their pathology?
Ooh, I don't know. Why don't you make a nature check, bro?
Ooh.
I
I
can.
wonder if
oh
that
wait,
pan
I'm
flute helps your nature abilities.
Take a big old whiff.
Smells like shit and dirt.
Wait, how do I do a check? Oh, I'm getting there. Hold on. Let me figure
got
this
that?
out.
You got that character sheet up?
Hey,
I'm
let him
gonna
figure
pop
it out.
this-
Let the boy watch.
Let the boy watch.
Thrust it down on Donna.
Damn.
Ooh.
You
Okay.
don't know.
You.
Or does he know, but it's wrong?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just the roll.
You think that this is a fine specimen of mushroom. You're not sure exactly where
Wait, your
it
nature
is,
check is +0?
but upon smelling,
Yeah, that seems a little not right.
mm,
That's like a Jew who isn't circumcised.
The nature skill is an intelligence-based skill based on your ability to study and remember things, Raelian.
Can we just back up a second?
Yeah.
Brilliant not knowing what a mushroom is like a gene that's not circumcised.
You think
I'm
this
Jewish.
is a
Just full disclaimer. I
Yeah.
can make that joke.
yeah. This is a whole
It's pretty-
anti-dentite episode here.
It's pretty funny, actually.
You can tell that this is a fine collection of mushrooms in here, all the
Alright.
same species. You're not sure that you've ever tried this before, though. But they appear editable.
Okay.
Editable.
Edible.
Mm.
Edible. The ace. You I think at this point Palandor and Raelian notice the horn that you saw earlier. Looks very finely made, probably valuable in some capacity. And both giants, actually, upon closer inspection, have in their helmets, they're inset with numerous gemstones.
Ooh, we want those.
Okay.
But-
Can I call?
I roll a nature check on those mushrooms, by the way.
Oh, okay. The
I
nature
also
boys are
wanna-
comparing notes.
Act on behalf of Peck here and just
Uh-huh.
saw those gems.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Peck.
Yeah, I mean, while you guys were doing all of this, Peck was like prying and popping out each and every gemstone like it was a bunch of sort of fucking packing bubbles, like boop.
Are they as big as Sam? How big are
They are probably the size of his palm.
they? We're pretty much rich.
Yeah, he's looking at them all with a good amount.
Is Ace
I,
free yet?
I'm gonna
Ace is
guidance
free.
myself.
Okay, you're checking out
So-
those shrooms.
So 18
Yeah.
for the shrooms.
You don't think they're poisonous in the sense that you would have any long-term negative side effects from eating these mushrooms, but they do appear to be psychedelic in nature.
Ace would
I-
like to. Oh, go for it.
I will tell as I'm giving it a huge whiff. Ugh, they're rotten. I'll take care of them.
Oh!
Well, I mean, they are.
Oh!
I mean, I imagine that they were in Raelian's hand, and he was sort of letting you inspect the pouch. So
Yeah.
that's.
Palandor, my friend, perhaps you could strip some of this armor off of this giant and use it for your own. Perhaps a shoulder pad for a shield?
Ooh. Well, what is the? I mean, is the armor made of? Okay, I've got lots of questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What's up? What's up?
Number
Number one!
Of the things that that were previously picked up, can I tell obviously whether any of these are just pieces?
Ah, man, I don't know what's up with your mic, man. I mean, I caught most of that. Piece of shit. You want to know if they're any piece of shit?
I want to know anything that I looted if it is
Yeah.
junky,
Okay.
like just straight junk. I want to manage my inventory, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, most of it's pretty junky. Yeah,
Okay.
to be fair. I don't even remember what I told you you had. You have to recap me.
No. I think you just explained everything to me.
I mean, there's always an opportunity for creative things, but yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, does their armor? Does it look? Like what does their armor look like? Is it tough? Is it bone? Is it something that can I obviously tell if it's could be better than what Palandor currently has?
You definitely don't think it could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last thing that I want to do is I want to go over to one of the wolves.
Okay.
Oh god, poor Grim Talon.
Wait,
We're having a side meta game right now.
Oh, I can't save that.
God damn.
Wait,
Wait, you did it.
yeah, I saved, but I will respond like that.
Rugark is higher than he's ever been.
I'm sorry, Palandor. I lost you after the question
Wolf.
about the armor. Oh, the wolves.
I want one of the hides.
Okay.
Oh, dude,
It's
I was
gonna.
just gonna
You
say
know
that.
what? I mean, your giant bone knife looks like it
looks
might.
perfect.
Looks perfect. Yeah. Or even you have like the blade of a hacksaw. It almost looks perfect. Like you could just like hand hold it.
Riley
like a big
walks
razor.
over and
Ace
That's what I
joins.
want.
Ace joins
maneuver
in.
that blade.
I also join in nature and shit.
There's two.
Yeah, there's two gigantic winter
Well-
wolves here.
Actually, question, because I want to use this as eventually as some kind of coat to protect against the cold elements.
Yep.
How many like coats? How big are these guys? Like, how many coats could realistically
20 feet
one
tall,
wolf?
right?
Like,
No,
would
they're
it cover like 3 people, 2 people, 1 person?
By the time they had to like cut and seam it,
It's like a
and do all
Snuggie.
the thing. Yeah, I mean, I would say you could probably make about 2 coats per wolf if you cut it cleanly enough.
Palandor takes extra care to cut cleanly.
Okay. Alright. I don't think
Roll
any
it.
of us are too hyper concerned about the crafting metagame,
I am.
so
I am.
I mean,
Roll it.
it's a thing, but you know.
Roll it.
Can the giant beards be used in the fabrication of
No, remember
apparel?
most of them
Before
burnt
you
and
roll it?
singed off
Before
Oh,
you
you
roll,
don't
I cast
remember it.
guidance on you.
because your
I don't
face
remember.
fell off.
Aw.
Yeah, there was a fireball.
Oh yeah, it's all fucked up and charred, huh?
Yeah.
Alright,
Fortunately,
I
it did
think-
not hit the wolves.
Yeah, I hit the 2 giants.
I lay hands on my face immediately.
Aw.
What are you, a paladin now? Are you taking Palandor's hand and like rubbing your face with it?
Yeah.
Your nose almost turns back to the way it's supposed
Rangers
to go.
aren't broken enough. Let me just get lay on hands in there. Alright. You collectively speak with and strip down whatever you can from these guys.
Did Ace physically change at all?
No.
No, I just got high and that was it. I was like,
I mean,
okay.
you feel a bit better.
Okay. Interesting.
Did anyone take the horn?
That was my next question.
Did what?
No one really.
There's a big
mentioned
ivory horn.
The big
Oh
ivory
yeah.
horn.
Yeah,
How big is it? Can you describe it? Is it like an instrument or is it like a unicorn horn?
It's probably like. I can't. It's probably pretty big.
Nice.
Like a rhinoceros horn?
Like 4 feet.
Yeah, like it was almost carved from the tusk of some really, really large beast. But probably, yeah,
It's
probably about 4 feet in length. About right.
But it's not like a musical horn, right?
No, I mean you can clearly deduct that this was the main horn bellowing out when the attack was going on. And
Take it to
snow
the
was
bar.
falling and everything was shaking and several smaller, weaker horns sort of replied.
Oh, so it is musical. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can blow it. It was the horn that the leader was using to like.
Okay.
Let us take it to the tavern and pour some libations.
It seconds the notion. Let us go beer horn this thing.
Okay.
I sling it over my shoulder and I strap it to my back.
Hush is almost like distantly walking in front of everyone. He's been remarkably quiet since before the fight occurred, and actually since the last night you were on the cold trail into this town, he's seemed more and more distant. But for whatever reason, he slowly walks his way, kind of muttering to Beldor and Hengar along the way, and he just sort of goes into Kelvin's comfort ahead of everyone else.
I would like some entertainment after our fight. Shall we find the finest inn and go be entertained?
Yes.
You're high off your shit too.
Is it how
did you
late
guys-
in the day?
Did you guys eat mushrooms?
Well,
I
Brugard,
fed one to Grimtalon.
Oh.
Is what I did.
and I cast suggestion on Brugard to make.
But
him higher
I
than he's
saved
ever been.
I saved versus that though.
Yeah.
I made some tea.
Let's get fucked, guys. Let's go get fucked.
Where you going to?
bar.
Are you going to the bar and you're gonna ask for some hot water?
No, let's not go to that shitty bar. Let's go find one where there's fighting and cussing and wenches. And,
You're
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want. Your
Who's-
brother has solemnly walked his way into Kelvin's comfort, where
Palandor follows Hush.
you met the dwarf proprietor Ace, who got you thrown in jail.
Ace kind of runs up next to Palandor and puts her arm around his shoulder. Come on, man! Like, don't go to that bar. Come on, that's where pussies go. Let's go find some fun.
I put my arm
have
around Ace and I
errands to
say,
run.
"Come on, we'll make our own fun." And I follow Palandor with Ace in a headlock, a friendly headlock.
Wait, wait, what did you say?
I'm dragging you into Friendly Frank's Tavern or whatever it's called.
The one where Hush went?
Yeah.
Where are the rest of the party going other places?
No, we're all going in there.
I mean, I'm going in there.
Yeah, Palandor followed
Where-
Hush. I'm following Palandor.
I follow Palandor.
I'm dragging you in.
Well,
All right. Look, I'm not gonna be a party pooper. Let's go in there. We'll make our own fun.
You know, you can conjure some wenches if need be.
I mean, this guy broke my wrist. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not feeling good about that. And he threw me in jail. But
Just flash him your keys to Eisenwall guard.
I do have a big horn strapped to my back, and we need to do some beer horns here.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ace walks up to the bar. Look. I know. Kind of, you're not feeling good about me. I know you threw me in jail. You broke my wrist. But look, I'm almost sober this time. I just want to put this horn up to my mouth, and I want you to pour as much beer as you can into it. And I'm just gonna open my throat. Let's go. And then all my friends are gonna do it. And then whoever doesn't do it, they're pussies.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is all the fighting done in the city at this point?
Yeah, I mean, by the time you guys get here, we can sort of splice in the sheriff sort of coming down the pathway from the north gate and meeting you all outside the tavern. And just to recap for Brugard here, he essentially thanked you all for helping to defend the city. During your battle and shortly thereafter, you could tell that all along the ringed wall of the city, people were defending and trying to hold the giants at bay. Certainly plenty of casualties, but it looks like when you guys sort of took out this larger one and some of the other battles themselves caused the rest of the giants to retreat.
Who has the
Nice.
paper? The commendation paper?
I took it.
believe he handed it to the paladin.
Okay.
And yeah, but basically the sheriff, who alive but very injured, and being assisted by that younger dwarf young guard who seemed pretty enamored with him, and several of his other guards. He was being supported by them, but healthy enough. And he basically handed you a bloodied scroll declaring you all defenders of Icewind Dale, sort of anointing you and giving you that title. And it had this sort of stamped seal and a big signature on it, and he was indicating that should you show that to any of the other 10 towns, these numerous towns that make up this Icewind Dale area, you should be treated like the heroes that you are.
Oh, that's very.
And with that, he sort of took his leave to go rest and recover and get some of that good healing.
All right. While I pee, Ace tries to get the bartender to do beer horns with the whole group.
Oh yeah, peeing sounds good. Let's all get some
I believe in
things
that.
before we go into that bar.
Do we break? Is everyone breaking?
Huh?
I guess. I'm not sure. Fiddy just got up.
Wait, is Fiddy here? Can Fiddy hear?
No.
Nope.
Bro, we gotta fuck Fiddy. We gotta do something cool tonight in the town. We gotta have
How
like
do
a
we do
party.
Like a bar fight?
Yeah, we gotta have like a bar fight. We gotta.
Combat. Let's get combat.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Dude, my face though. I gotta. let my
Your face,
heal.
though.
dude, you are fucked. You are straight fucked. Like you cannot put enough snow on that face.
Yeah, but it'll heal.
Into a fucking scar.
No way, man.
It sounds like we have a side quest to get your face prettied again.
Oh shit.
Just like Peck had his legs cut off. Your face is like even in a brothel they'll turn you away.
What?
Yeah.
Is that bad?
You took a building to the face.
That's alright.
Told you.
Like Brugart got cut in half, but your face got fucked. Oh man, Fiddy's not here at all. All right, we need to get room and board in this place. We need to milk what we've done as much as possible. We just saved this whole town. They owe us a life debt. Like we should get like
Rebellion owes me a life debt.
right. So that's like a double life debt. We should get like, the best food and drink in this place, and like we should party it up. We should get all the information we can out of everybody who's here. We just throw a big fucking party, get everyone drunk, and just like question everybody. Awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. Right, deal. We gotta get Grimtalon drunk too.
He's already on mushrooms. Come on, leave him.
Leave him alone. He's already at his max. And he's
Shh,
back.
he's back. Shh, shh.
Oh.
Ace looks up at the bar. Who's doing a beer horn with me? She surveys the room and she looks over the party.
What time is it? Like in the game?
Late morning.
Who's doing a beer horn with me?
I got shit to do.
Not
There
that
are
guy.
a few patrons. Some of them appear to have been townsfolk who were just hiding out in here. Ogden, the dwarf proprietor, sees you all come in, and kind of looks up at you with a little bit of disdain, but then looks at one of the guards who kind of like shakes his head. He says, "Oh, very well, you can come back to the bar here, but you're responsible for your friend."
Ace looks down at him. It's 12 o'clock somewhere, and she points into the big end of the horn.
You can see the guard that kind of shook his head, like, comes up to the bar and says, "They're the ones that killed the leader of the giants that attacked the city."
And his dogs.
And he kind of looks over at you and says, "Here." And you can see he pulls from this measly small coin pouch at his side. He says, "Fill this horn, give them a round on me." And he plops it down on the counter. Now Ogden kind of looks back at you with a slightly enhanced view.
Ogden, my good friend, you take the first pull. And Ace braces the horn with her hands.
He lets you spin the horn around, and he stops it with, like, you know, the receiving end pointing in his direction. And he looks past the giant horn and says, "It's true then. You lot." It's a big old dwarf. "As you lot killed a frost giant."
Yeah.
defended our walls, defended my city's walls.
Offended you, sir. Now take a drag off this giant horn of beer.
And then pay for it.
Yeah.
He seems like he's become willing to accept your personality in light of this news, and he says, "All right then. Drinks and food are on me this day." And he kind of just starts like slamming on the counter of the bar, knocking his webcam down.
It's lights the top of the horn on fire, like the beer is on fire, and it's like, everyone come do it with us.
Ooh.
And he kind of shouts to the back where you can kind of see like a few servers and cooks and assistants. Says, start cooking up a feast back there. And he kind of embraces the flames around the ring on the large mouth of the horn and just sort of sloppily starts pouring some of his famous brandy all around it, sort of igniting the flames even more. And it starts funneling down the horn, and he just lets it shoot him right in the mouth. And then he starts pouring another one and just spins the horn on the bar, and it just sort of starts spraying all over the counter, but then holds it and it's shooting right towards you. Ace.
Is this Ogden or is this a?
This is Ogden, Flamebeard,
All right, Ogden.
the dwarven proprietor.
Ogden. When last I shook your hand, you broke my wrist.
You're saying this while he's holding the horn and brandy's firing out.
Yep. When last I shook your hand, you broke my wrist. But
he kind of stoppers the other, tries to reach, can't quite reach, just like leaning over the bar trying to stop the other side. Ah, fucking.
But this time, I extend my hand as a friend, and I shake his hand as I put the horn up to my mouth.
He reaches the bandaged hand
Yep.
towards you
I shake
and just
broken hand.
grips your hand.
and I give it the limp shake, and I chug what's in the horn.
Right. As soon as you get your mouth around it, seeing the wasted brandy had already been spilling over the bar top and the floor, he pours like another several shots worth down it while your lips are wrapped around the thing.
Can we just say that Peck is not letting that spilled brandy go waste and is on the table?
That is a fantastic point. Using all of his dexterous abilities, he is just. He kind of looks up like, what? Spilt brandy. And he kind of doffs his colorful hat.
Is it good brandy or is it really shit?
It's pretty good. I mean, with how cold it is out there, like, I mean, almost any kind of warmth feels great. And this is the town famous Flamebeard's fire brandy.
Ooh.
Purported to keep a nasty cold at bay.
Calendar orders a bottle of it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's every time she sees an open shot of Flamebeard, she lights on fire.
Calendar orders 3 bottles of it and
Shit.
pays the guy.
Wow.
Like, even though it's on him, I assume he'll give like maybe 1 pound or pays him for like whatever's left over though.
You notice Hengar is here with you, the barbarian who sort of aided you, but was still imprisoned the night before with Ace, and he's waiting for his moment to sort of step in to you all, imagining at least a good group of you are at the bar here. Hush is kind of just sitting on a stool, staring into the flames at the hearth at the fireplace in the center of the far wall. But Hengar waits for his opening and kind of comes over and says, I appreciate your help. I know some of my ravings might seem mad to you all, but I tell you true what I told you before, with a little bit less control at the time.
Ace cuts him off instantly. Puts a finger up to his mouth. The only thing that's crazy here is you haven't done a shot yet. and she spins the thing up to his mouth, the horn up to his mouth.
You see him just hold his hand up, and he just kind of, with his big, strong, barbaric hand, just peels your finger away gently, as if holding like a small animal. He says, "Please, let me finish my thoughts while my mind is clear. These last weeks have been like a fever dream in a white snowstorm of my own internal hell. Since I came to this city before being falsely accused and shackled and left for dead, I came here for aid. My entire clan, every last one of them, or so I believe, was killed, turned to stone. Statuesque they stood throughout our village, in the surrounding woods. I couldn't find one man, woman, or child that was not in this statuesque form. I'd returned from this hunt. Several of my men ran off at the sight of this, claiming the Frost Maiden herself has cursed our village. They threw down their amulets, their symbols of our clan. And you know he's got this elk head amulet.
Yeah. Ace looks over. Ah, the elk head amulet. The one we found on the dead man on the outskirts of town. I'm familiar with this.
Oh no, he's wearing the amulet here.
Well, Ace looked at her nose and she's very.
Says I'm afraid I need your aid to clear my name so that I can leave this town and find out what's responsible for this. There's good chance other clans or other people in this region are suffering this plague. Whatever's causing it, whoever's responsible for it, I have to know. I have to know if it could be undone. I don't ask for your aid in this treacherous task. Only that you do that which you promised, which was help me look into this false accusation of theft by this woman, this local woman of this town.
Quest accepted.
Palindor nods to him and says, "We will of course fulfill our oath to you, and we shall help you research concerning your villagers, and hopefully there is a way to undo the evil that has been done upon you all."
You can see his eyes welling and fighting back tears as he just immediately does a surprisingly regal sort of push of his fur cloak and just the deepest fucking bow you've ever seen. It almost moves your dark heart, Ace, and surely Palindor and some of the others recognize it as a sign of immense gratitude from someone who may not know your more civilized ways. He's almost kissing the floor when he looks up at you and says, "Thank you." When this day winds on, or perhaps the morrow, I have no doubt the guards or the sheriff will come with questions. I would seek your aid when that time comes.
Yes. We will have several questions that we won't get into now. Now is the time to celebrate our victory. But yes, we will have several questions for you.
He nods knowingly. Just, thank you.
As his head pops back up, there's the end of a horn with Ace's thumb over it, right up by his face.
What's happening?
There's a horn. I'm gonna take my thumb off of it, and he's gonna drink booze.
Okay. Thought you were like trying to conjure a like elk horn on your thumb and shove it up his nostril.
No. Like
Not yet.
he's bowing
Not yet.
deeply, respectfully.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
his head comes back up. And there's a horn in front of his face.
He accepts. He seems to let himself fall in with this celebratory mood that you're all taking.
And then as he's doing it, I whisper into his ear, "What were you accused of stealing? And from whom?"
He finishes the drink. Says, some merchant. I believe her name was Brynna. She
Greta?
Brynna.
Britta?
Brynna.
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 Ah, Bretta.
He says I was accused of stealing a large sum of money from her.
Okay.
Ah, Brenna.
Yeah.
Who's next? Ace whips the horn around the table.
It was melted off my face, and I grabbed the horn.
Hey, how about like 7? Good.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God,
What?
what did you just roll?
Don't worry about it.
I'm not worrying about it.
Palandor's producing several coins from his pouch to Ogden as he collects his bottles of brandy.
Oh.
Ace puts her thumb up to Raelian's lips and unleashes the rest of the booze from the horn into his mouth.
What's the bourbon called? What was it called?
Firebeard's Fire Brandy.
Okay, Palandor does this in a way that Peck can't see it. I know Peck's not technically here, but
Palandor waits for Peck's turn at the horn luge, and while his focus is totally engaged with drinking every last drop of fire brandy, he makes a small transaction on the side here.
all right. I got things that I want to do.
Yeah, what's everyone else doing?
Ace is looking around for shifty people rolling dice or dressed in black.
All right, let's hear from Brugark and Raelian, huh?
Right.
Boy, what are you nature boys up to? How are those shrooms treating you? You both?
Oh, I don't know. How are they treating me?
You both ate them?
Yeah.
How
Hey,
many?
Did you?
All of them.
How
Well, I fed
Many.
one to
Grim Talon?
All of them minus one.
Yeah, I think I need a medicine check.
No, seriously, there were 14
Oh,
in the
Oh,
pouch.
I just had one.
Yeah.
I'm not dumb.
1-4.
Is the guy eating mushrooms?
I know.
Raelian? How many
Yeah, no,
did you?
I just have one.
Okay. You
Oh,
were
come
get-
on,
were,
man,
were-
have two.
were you getting hot tea and make like hot water and making a tea,
I made a
or were you
tea
just
out of
eating
it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I made a little tea.
All right. Brugark and Grim Talon each eat one. Raelian's steeping a tea with it
You die.
at the bar. I mean, there's sort of like a slightly foul, strange aftertaste in your mouths. Nothing at the moment is really happening in regards to that. Although Grim Talon kind of wobbly hops over to where Hush is sitting and staring at the fire and is just kind of like sitting next to him, equally
Aw.
mesmerized by the flames.
Little
Just
guy.
So is Grimtown a beast or not?
No, it's a monstrosity.
Is there any
What?
way?
You monster.
Watch
Right.
your
So
mouth.
is there one thing that I can? So I've got these druid spells that allow me to commune with,
Yeah.
with beasts, but I want to make a special version of the spell in which I can communicate with Grimtalon.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to go find a griffin trainer.
Is
Like
there
the
one in
one
the
we
city?
left in the tower.
You did hear about one from Radoth, the druid.
I
in
forgot
the-
what town it was. 'cause
In the
I don't think my
not
notes
too
got-
distant town of Fireshear, on
Fireshear, that's
the
where it
coast, just west of here.
All right.
The dude in the tower's a trainer too.
He is not a trainer. He is a breeder.
He just lets them go wild after he trains them. After he breeds
No, of course not. He's got several friends who are expert griffin trainers,
them. Oh.
as
Right.
he informed you of.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna wait for that.
Okay.
Challenge
This is kind of what
accepted.
today. This is what kind of today is all about. You know, like sort of out of character is sort of tying up those loose ends, or really assessing what your characters truly would want to do in this situation. What sort of lingering things are important to them? What sort of things, in light of recent events, are you interested in? This is what your characters should be discussing and planning, in my opinion.
I want to walk over to the
Any
bartender.
threads, past, present, or future. This is
Yeah.
your chance to discuss plots, seek information, seek maps, etc.
Yeah, on that subject, I want to walk over to the bartender and ask him what he knows about the red-robed wizards.
Oh shit. The
Oh.
beetle guy.
Yeah, the last Red Robe Wizard you all saw appeared to be much more powerful than you expected, and also much more alive than you expected, if I'm not
The-
mistaken.
Collapsed tower, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, my
Yeah.
father was a red-robed wizard, wasn't he?
Your father
Oh, shit.
killed one.
Oh, he
Or
killed
was
one.
fighting. No, was fighting one.
Okay.
Who was, apparently a necromancer. But correct me if I'm wrong. When you all went to Phandalin last, in the midst of it sort of being an occupied town, being pinched on by monstrous armies and other sort of rumored giants, you all went into to try to rescue one of the dwarven brothers, the rock seeker Gundren.
Yep.
And he was being tortured and interrogated by what appeared to be the true form of Yarno Glassstaff. And he was donning these crazy red robes and had a tattooed scalp and several very strangely intelligent, well-dressed hobgoblin guards in this room. The room that was more of like a library slash wizard's laboratory down in the Red Brands sort of keep that were underneath the Tressendar Manor. And it was in there that he was interrogating Gundren. That he basically, with walls of magic, just let you all watch as he shrunk Gundren down into this gemmed earring that Gundren was wearing and encapsulated him inside of the gem. And he almost held him to the light in a presentable form to you all and smiled as you could see that Gundren was alive inside this earring. And it became pretty apparent, I think, at that time that you were dealing with an almost godlike strength magic user. Or at least I believe Hush conveyed that idea, if it wasn't clear enough to you all. At the dread you sensed in his presence, his true presence. More than the seeping dragon fear that caused some of you to stun and stutter in previous battles, there was an unmistakable dread that just washed over all of you during this moment. That was the last time you saw a red wizard.
Really? Alright, I have questions.
Uh-huh.
So, the collapsing tower that I took the ring from, Indiana Jones style, that happened afterwards.
No, that was before.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the Netheril Tower where there was another wizard wearing red robes, who was basically exploring and excavating the site, treating it like a dig site. Who had a tent there. And he started off kind of neutral, but I believe you all came to battle with him at some point. Like he even froze Hush midair with some sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
magic spell.
Interesting. Okay.
But it was after that that you had encountered Zephyros and his tower and floated back towards Phandalin to basically recover these other members of the council who were caught, captured, or lost within the town that was now under siege at the time. And you all did sort of a rescue mission.
And go.
And that was the last time you saw a red wizard. But you, Raelian, you recalled a distant memory of your father, I believe,
Yeah.
dying fighting a red wizard who was raising other elvish bones from the dead into these horrible, horrible skeletal forms of themselves. And I believe you have a dislike for necromancy in general.
That's right.
As a result of that. But so Ace, you're asking this bartender about, or no, Raelian, you were asking him about red
Yep.
wizards.
Uh-huh.
He kind of spits when you ask, and then immediately uses that spit with his dirty bar cloth to kind of rub it into the bar tarnish.
Classic.
Says, don't know much about red wizards, but the red wizards of Thay have a foul-tasting name for a reason. Vile bunch. And he goes on to basically indicate that they used to be this fairly powerful, well-organized group of wizards in the East. And although they're no longer as organized as they used to be, they're still largely mistrusted by the better factions, the more good-natured factions of Faerun.
Okay. That's all I had.
All right. Ace is gonna do something great. So she's been handing out drinks to everybody, right?
Sure.
Sure. All right. So she's gonna stand up on the table. She's gonna have her big old horn, and she's gonna say, "Look, we're looking for this guy called Artist Simber. Has anyone heard anything about this Artist Simber guy?" She pans the
Palindor, make a perception check. Palindor.
Colin Poundor.
Calling a Palindor.
Poundor, please. Roll the dice, please, Poundor.
Get a Palindor.
Oh!
Palindor.
Damn.
And here's a Palindor. Palindor,
She's brilliantly.
you recall a couple things from your visit to the House of the Triad. There was a guy.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, yep. I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
and you know that when the name Artist Simber came up the following morning,
That guy was acting freaky.
that guy was acting a little freaked out.
I remember that.
Yeah. Funny enough, you see that guy out in the street
Oh, right now?
conversing. Yeah, right near. Because I mean, you guys aren't too far from basically like the main crossroads at the town center here.
Artist Simber, where we need to know about Artist Simber.
Where you at, bro? You see
where
him
at?
conversing with Delvan Ludwig, the main priest, who he was accompanying back in the House of the Triad.
Yeah. Palindor is gonna make. Palindor is gonna walk outside, but as he goes, he's gonna pull Ace over, just real quick.
Okay.
And,
She slings the horn over her back again, like it's
And-
holstered.
Infernal, Palindor says, "You might want to check on your brother Hush," and then Palindor walks outside.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
I do so.
You walk out and you see the priest talking with this guy again. This is the almost sad-looking, shaky-eyed guy. Here you go. Let's see this guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, he is sad and shaky eyed.
Looks like
And
Looks like a 15-year vet in the CG industry.
You see, you see the priest kind of clasp his hand around his shoulder, and he looks at him like, almost like fatherly like, although these two could probably easily be the same age. And this guy who you recall, I think you got his name or heard his name, was Sirac. You see the priest looking at him almost expectantly, and you see this Sirac fellow kind of sighs, almost as he's repeating like a personal mantra. He says, "Without duty or loyalty, a man is nothing. A man is nothing." And the priest kind of nods and starts walking back toward the house. And before seeing you coming out of the tavern, you could see him turning as if he was about to walk towards the tavern himself. And he almost stops and pauses mid-step and sees you walking towards him. And you see him like adjust his coat, the clasp around the fur collar. I was coming to speak with you, Sir Palandor it is.
Hail, friend. Would you like to come in and get a drink? Celebrate with us?
Maybe we could
Perhaps
speak.
some wine.
Maybe we could speak out here first, and you can tell
Very
he's kind
well.
of got like this confessional look in his eyes.
Is it just Palandor and this guy?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Says, Icewind Dale is my home now, and I have you and your friends to thank for defending it. It's only right that I try to figure out what's going on here. And he goes on to basically confess to you that he believes that he is the son of Artist Simber. Says, I don't know my father or his whereabouts. I was given up as a child, but I did find out along the way that I was his son. And I believe my father still has this ring. He used to be, so I was told, a member of the Harpers. I do recall from my time trying to learn who my father was that he had some connections to the Roaring Horn estate in the city of Waterdeep.
The water horn? Sorry.
Roaring Horn. I don't know this family well. I didn't really meet them per se, but when I was trying to track him down, I did learn that he spent time at this estate on numerous occasions.
Is it metagaming if I share my notes on any of this?
No, I don't think so. You can share it out of. I mean, you can share anything out of character. I just ask that you guys try to, paint your characters' reactions within what they would know to the best of your ability.
It was revealed previously that the Harpers are a shadow organization. They are chaotic good and look out for the little folk.
Yeah, it's pretty well known. I mean, the Harpers are generally considered. They don't operate within like the strict code of law per se that a paladin would. They're a bit more chaotic in nature, and they don't typically reveal that they are members to most people, but they definitely are known, in cities by certain people, and are known to do good for the people in general. They care more about the people than they do about factions or orders or towns or any sort of man-made construct in that regard. He's sort of confessing this all to you and says, like I never wanted anything to happen to my town, to my people here. I don't even know why it is they seek my father, but perhaps my presence here has drawn them to this town. I can't say. But
Friend, do not blame yourself for any of this, but what proof do you have that you're his son? Do you know this for a fact?
He said I eventually found this strange man when I was looking for my father. He said that he had some of my father's blood. And for whatever reason, I believed him. I felt like he was telling me the truth. And I had that blood checked against mine own blood through some magic. And this wizard told me that they were one and the same, that we shared the same bloodline.
Ask the wizard's name.
Who is this wizard?
Fuck you, Ace. Let me just
Steve the wizard.
Steve the wizard.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna give Fitty the benefit of the doubt. I saw those wheels turning, man. I was like,
no, hold on. I have the. Shh, God, I only needed 2 seconds. He was.
Steve.
He called himself Nilron.
Holy shit! You really had this ready to go.
Yeah.
What? No wrong?
He
Nil.
can do no wrong.
Can he? Oh, I like no wrong better.
Yeah. Nilron, you fucks.
Nilron, you fucks. Yes, that's his last name. It's clearly his last name.
Easily.
He said he used some strange magic. He had these runes, these stoned runes that he dripped the blood along. And comparing the 2 runes, they both began to glow this same strange, almost grayish white glow. And with that, he confirmed that my father was indeed Artist Simber.
That's how DNA tests are done.
So is your father alive? I mean, rumor has it that he has lived for hundreds of years. I mean, is there even evidence that he has died?
Ooh, well played, sir.
I don't know anything else about the man other than the implication that I am perhaps his offspring.
And you confide this to me. First of all, thank you for confiding your secret to me. I shall keep it safe.
Shield bash, take him with you.
You
My wife's laughing at me.
you kind of see him like nervously rubbing his hands, and he says, yes, I'm afraid my confession comes with a little bit of selfishness as well.
Here it comes.
If
I thought
you-
there might be a hook.
If you all head to Waterdeep, I'd hope that I might be able to accompany you at no trouble to you all other than traveling with you. I'd like to go as far south as Luskin. If these things are after me, perhaps I can lead them away, take a ship out of Luskin, head south, I don't know.
Well, as I know right now, I don't believe our plans are to head south yet. But if we are to make our way to Waterdeep, I will. Can I find you at the House of the Triad?
Indeed, I spend most of my time studying with our friend there. And he kind of bows, and you can almost see like a weight lifted off of him. And he starts heading down the road back towards the House of the Triad.
Perfect. Palanor goes back inside.
Cool. Meanwhile, back in the tavern, Brugark, what are you doing? Grimtalon's looking a little weird, and you're starting to see like these strange swirling shapes in the flames. Both you and Raelian are almost entranced by the fire that Hush has just been staring into since he got here. It's almost
Is
hypnotic.
it night?
No, it's lunchtime.
Oh, it's lunchtime. Awesome.
Fucking
It's the morning.
I have no idea. Sorry, I don't know.
That
what
was the
means.
perfect question, by the way, for your character.
yeah,
guys.
that was It does feel like it should be nighttime to you.
So,
I'm gonna find a park.
A park?
Park?
Okay.
Yeah, like there's probably like like sacred tree or some kind of place where there's some nature?
Yeah,
in
I
this
mean,
walled
A
there's
city?
shrine.
there are
Tree
definitely
shrine.
there are a few spots where like there are some sort of snow covered trees and sort of natural park settings. There's a fountain. Like you're just gonna go wander the streets for a while.
Yeah. With
That's
Bryn
what
telling.
someone on mushrooms would do.
Yeah.
I shall follow.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! Welcome to
Ah.
jail, sirs.
Raelian, I'm gonna go find some trees. If you know what I mean.
That's my jam.
Trees.
I was put into jail for arm wrestling. You guys are going to jail for being on
You
drugs.
you were drunk and disorderly.
I was
I'm
very
gonna see-
disorderly.
I'm gonna see if I can find some druids here.
Yo, you guys druids?
Yo,
You
how
run
y'all feel
druid
about them
business?
trees? How you feel about them trees?
Oh, we're druids. We love trees.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Stirring into the flames, I say, hey bartender, who else can I talk to in town about the Red Wizards?
The bartender's name is Ogden, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, Ogden.
He's a dwarf.
He says, afraid I don't know too much about any red wizards or anyone who might around these parts.
You're lying.
AKA the DM did not write that content.
No, this is you are literally in the Alaska of Faerun right now. Like this
You
is
can
a
find out if
place-
he's lying.
you absolutely could. You can make an insight check to see if Raelian thinks he's lying. Would you like
Maybe
to do
he's-
that?
Maybe he's not.
Uh.
Maybe he's part of the Red Wizards. You don't know. Let's find out. It's Alaska.
Serving libations in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all good.
Please.
Raelian goes with it.
Okay, insight check.
Roll that shit.
What happens if he is lying? You're gonna just figure it out.
I'm gonna fuck him up.
Oh no.
12, huh?
No, there's an 18.
That's the saving throw.
No,
That's the saving.
that's a if you had rolled with advantage.
Uh,
You believe he is 100% telling the truth. And I mean, you think about your environment right here. Like these, save for some sort of strange reason for being up here, like this is a place of vagabonds, outcasts, maybe fishermen who, do ice fishing up here and go after these like famous scrimshaw fish that their bones are valuable for carving and shit like that. The only time you've ever heard of these red wizards was much, much further east in Faerun, and around much larger, more populated cities like Neverwinter, Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, Daggerford, places like that. Now, you did come dangerously close to a port city called Luskin on your way here, which is kind of like the last city before you got to the spine of the world.
Was it Port Huskin?
No, Luskin.
That's where the son
And
of
that-
Angar wants to go.
Luskin, to your knowledge, the best of your knowledge, is this fairly, like if you could call it like a pirate city. It's called the City of Sails, but it's more just kind of like a melting pot, a place where swashbucklers can safely walk the street. Lots of interesting ships come in and out of port. It's kind of ruled by these 5 high captains that form some sort of strange pirate council. But you know that it's kind of this shady sort of city where you might be able to find more information about something like that.
I don't. I mean, out of context,
Yeah.
I think we should bring Hengar to Luskin, and maybe Peck's pirate is gonna play out. If Luskin is a pirate city, and then Hengar wants to go there, we need a ring from Hengar's dad, so that the
You're
fucking-
mixing Hengar
Hengar.
and
Finger's the
Sirak
barbarian.
up here.
Oh, not Hengar.
It's Sirak.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So the son of Artist Simber wants to go to Luskin, right? And Artist Simber has this ring that's going to lay waste to all of the Sword Coast, right? So maybe
Allegedly.
the son has it, and if we go to Luskin, maybe we can like play off of Peck's pirate shit, and then we can figure out where this ring is, and then we can stop the whole world from getting fucking fucked over.
I like
And
the main story arc you're going with here.
Yeah?
I got some side quests gotta get taken care of, bro.
Oh god damn it, Palandor.
I know.
And just to lay it on even thicker here in the quest hub of Act 2, Sister Garaele comes in just as Raelian and Brugark are getting ready to leave. It says she kind of walks up to Raelian and places her long, slender, elven hand on his broken, mutilated, horrific face.
No, don't do it.
Says,
Keep him mutilated.
I heard you were injured defending our city.
Roll it.
Would you like me to take a closer look at that? And Peck immediately jumps in there, displaying all of his grievous wounds, and talks about how his gunshot felled the lead giant.
His leg's fucking chopped off.
I said, indeed I would. Can I buy you a drink?
No drink for me at this lunch hour. I have much to tend to.
But I forgot it was midday.
Can I roll Sister Garaele's healing just real quick?
Sure.
Is
Can
that
Ace-
cool?
Can
Like,
I
yeah.
step
mind?
in? Can I step in?
Hold on. Let me pull my spells here.
No, I got it. Don't worry.
I mean,
Okay,
Oh,
your
yeah.
face is healed.
no.
Oh, look at that. Yep.
Ace steps in. Lady, clearly we are of different minds, but you heal this man's fucked face and you leave my other friend's broken legs out of the question. But clearly you should heal his legs and restore to him the ability to walk correctly.
Peck?
Peck!
He can walk correctly now.
He's missing a leg!
Well,
And
That
really
was-
it just has a broken nose.
yeah, that was uncurable in that form, essentially.
Hey you, maybe you're not trying hard enough, Sister Grill. Maybe you should try to heal his leg and restore it back to him instead of fixing this man's broken nose.
She completely ignores you and tells you to fuck off in so many words.
Ace does fuck off. She
Okay.
fucks her.
She fucks it right off.
She fucks right off.
If you want her to restore your face to its original form, Raelian, she offers to do so.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Be scarred. It's cool.
Please and thank you.
She does so.
Does she at least roll for it? Does she fuck it up?
No. And she also heals Peck a little bit as well.
His stump grows a little bit.
Yeah. She
Ask her how I can repay her.
well, I've come here to speak to you all about that. And following her in is a very exhausted, bags under the eyes, Duvessa Shane, the city's leader and representative. Sister Garaele sort of starts off and says, it's very clear now that what we heard of, what we foresaw, is coming to pass. These giants are attacking numerous cities in the Sword Coast, and it's not just frost giants. But you all have chosen to help us seek out what caused this ordning to shatter. What was the origin of giants losing whatever restraints have held them back for hundreds of years? Duvessa, and she gestures to her behind him, has already sent word out to some of the other cities, some of the other factions in the surrounding areas, dwarven clans, barbaric tribes, any and all who are willing to help defend these areas. I am asking you all to uphold the agreement we forged in the Tower of Zephyros and seek out the root of the problem. Seek out what caused these giants to begin lashing out and attacking these cities.
It's over her shoulder from the back as she's fucking off. Kind of coughs. They're looking for a ring, you fucking idiot.
I bend on one knee
Grail.
and say, "You will have my long dong."
Perhaps if you and Duvessa would like to sit down, we can relay some information we discovered from the giant leader.
Duvessa kind of nods at Ogden, who quickly goes and like with one helper, basically goes and starts situating a private long table in the back corner of the room, not too far from the fireplace. And the ladies wait a moment and then sort of gracefully walk over to this table.
Palandor walks over too, but he orders a bottle of wine from the bar, and then he reminds
Fancy,
Ace to check on Hush. Kindly. And then he goes and sits down between them.
I join them at the table.
Ace joins them at the table as well.
Okay. Everyone gathers around that would like to. And Duvessa and Sister Grail kind of gestures, says, please, anything you've learned would be insightful.
We have learned several things, actually, from the giant leader. 1 second. Yes, so we discovered that there is their Jarl. They're building ships. Many ships. They're building it in a sea of moving ice, is what they said. All the giants from all the areas are searching for a ring. And none of them will return to the Jarl unless that ring is presented. Artis Simber has something to do with this. The giant mentioned his name several times. He also said that there will be more and more ships built, and that more and more eggs will hatch. I do not know of what eggs he speaks of. They want a ring of
Shit.
The Duvessa just lets out like a deeply concerning sigh and says, the sea of moving ice is what we call the frozen, glacier-filled ocean that is west of the spine of the world. West of Iron Master, which is, she's clearly indicating is some town. If that's where the giants are holed up, perhaps we could learn more near there. Now, when you say other giants serving the Jarl, Jarl is a title strictly held for frost giants. This is Sister Grail kind of butting in here. The reports we received prior to our council, and she looks at all of you at that, indicated that all of the giants of every variety were attacking other towns in their respective parts of the Sword Coast.
I mean, The objectives that the giant, illustrated were that I believe the Jarl wants to plunge the world into an ice age. I don't know if he was referring to just the ice giants about this, but he's basically said if we present the ring, then the attacks will stop, but at the cost of a great ice age, is what I believe.
Ace speaks in Infernal. We should figure out what the ring does. Perhaps giving it to the ice giants would be more problematic than keeping it for ourselves.
Palandor responds and says, I have no plans to give them the ring, but I'm curious at their motives.
Sister Grail interjects for a moment and says, in every recorded history I have read on giants and their cultures, there's only been a few instances where giants of different origins would work together, and rarely more than just a few would forge such an alliance. She says, I have to believe that any of these other giants seeking this ring for this Jarl are very likely frost giants, or perhaps one other allied faction of giants. The question is, why does the Jarl seek this ring? She said the information we got when we were with Zephyros in the tower seemed to indicate that the ordning was shattered. And speaking to some of my contacts around Icewind Dale here while we were in Bryn Shander, people indicate that the ordning was essentially some sort of caste system, a pecking order of giants. And for whatever reason, that caste system, and whoever was at the top of it, has kept giants from the pure savagery that we're hearing rumors of now when it comes to small folk in our settlements. Whether the Jarl is responsible or someone else is, something has caused these giants to start rampaging throughout the Sword Coast.
I mean, do you think it's a rebellion of some kind?
Perhaps. Perhaps. The problem is we don't know. Duvessa, tell them what you were telling me. And she kind of steps in and says, I heard Markham anointed you defenders of Icewind Dale, and I agree with this title. I don't know what she was saying. She goes on to say, if you are seeking out more information on these giants and find yourselves traveling along the coast, she says, I have a living aunt in Waterdeep who's the captain of a ship called the Dancing Wave. Says you can seek her out. I will write you a personal letter that you can present to her. And with this letter, I have no doubt that she would provide you accommodations and transportation along the coast, wherever your search might lead you within reason. She says, I don't expect you to go to Waterdeep. I'm not mandating that you do so.
All right, we'll
but
go.
should you need travel, I ask that you seek out this relative of mine as a personal thank you, and in hopes that it might aid in whatever information you seek.
And what is your aunt's name?
It's Enerva Coldwater. Fine ship captain. She kind of looks at Peck, says, perhaps you two would get on just fine.
Well, as a personal thank you to you, as the leader of this ice town, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about Brenna Elcotts.
Brenna?
Yeah.
She's one of our merchants in town here.
I heard she was robbed recently.
She was? I had not heard.
Oh yeah, she claims left and right that she was robbed. Specifically, that Hangar robbed her. Do you know of what description of the person that robbed her?
She says, I leave matters like this to Sheriff Markham. But if it's something that concerns you all, I could certainly sit in on some discussions.
Oh, it does. This man was jailed with me recently, almost condemned to death over this theft. Perhaps you could look into this matter. I feel like he was wrongfully jailed.
Let me speak with the sheriff later tonight. Perhaps on the morrow I could gather him up and we could all discuss this matter after we've all had a bit of rest.
If you decide to discuss this, may I ask that you also invite Sir Barrick to join us?
Sir
We
Barrick,
may have some information that could be useful, perhaps.
he says, I don't know the man, but if you'd like to bring him, you're more than welcome.
I would.
I've
Sure.
spent a night in jail with this man Hangar, and I'm very familiar with him. Perhaps I could be part of the conversations as well.
Yeah. She nods. Nods in agreement.
I have one more question for Sister Grail, and then we can do other things. But,
Sure, yeah.
Are you a lesbian?
Do you know anything about villages with members who have been completely frozen? Do you know if there is a treatment of some kind for that, or are they dead? Are they stone?
Ace whispers, "They've been turned to stone."
Is there any kind of magic like that here? Did the frost giants create such atrocities?
Vessa has a very blank look on her face. One second.
What do you know about the elk pendant?
What about Sister Grail?
Yeah, I'm getting that. So Sister Grail kind of gets a very, very cocked eyebrow at the mention of this. She says, "Stone."
Or ice?
They've been turned to stone. That was their deal.
Was it stone?
Yeah.
Stone.
She says it's the second time I've heard of stone. Are you referring to statuesque figures?
Yes. And if, for what it's worth, I actually found a statuesque figure of a dwarf inside one of the satchels.
Did you?
Oh, Jesus! You're carrying it around?
No. I left it outside the village, or outside the town, but it's still there. I assume it hasn't been moved.
Poor dude.
There. That's fairly disturbing news. She almost stifles, choking on some wine she was sipping. Where did you hear about this? And where's this statue you found?
Well, I'd be happy to take you there. It's outside the main entrance when we entered the city. And we heard it from Hagar. Is that it?
Hangar.
Hangar?
Ace interjects. The man I spent time with in the slammer told me about this. His entire tribe has been turned into stone.
We should examine this statue whenever we get a moment here.
Perhaps we could make a moment right now. And Ace grabs her arm.
Okay.
Luke
So
is
you-
muted, by the way.
Klug is muted? Oh no.
Oh well. Oop, I'm here.
I think Jeff's
Jeff's muted.
too.
Those mushrooms.
Yep.
Those mushrooms get.
Aw, poor Jeff.
Yeah.
Goes down so hard.
Yeah. Hard
Nice,
life
though.
with daddy.
Oh. No.
All right, give me 1 second, please. As whoever heads out with
Ace forces the DM's hand. Yeah, what about those stone statues?
Hey, isn't that convenient that that random dice roll had a stone statue of a dwarf in it?
it actually truly was random, but it is interesting.
Is there also a tailor shop along the way or something I can drop those wolf pelts at?
There is a place that you heard about that makes fine Yeti fur cloaks that you imagine could do something with similar, more natural materials like that.
I was hoping you would take one of the shoulder pauldrons off and then use that as like a shield. That'd be so cool.
But I've got a special shield.
You have a special shield?
I have a special shield.
Oh, alright.
It's so special.
It does the special.
It's a special shield. Actually, it's
Definitely.
probably just a normal shield.
You could dual wield like special shield and a Yeti shield.
Oh, it's the sentinel shield.
Hey guys, my son is crying. I gotta go help him.
Yeah, no worries.
And then I'm probably gonna crash.
Roll some dice. You gotta roll dice.
All good. Some of you, all of you, head out with a very concerned Sister Grail to where you left the dwarven statue. And you get there, and she immediately starts delicately inspecting the thing. She says, "This appears to be covered with a
User
layer
disconnected from your
of
channel.
rough outer stone. Does anyone have anything I could just gently chisel it with?"
Well, I've got this giant ivory horn.
Something.
Well, I know some of you have like some of your starting gear, which had like little pythons and stuff like that.
Yeah, I present something.
Ace presents her clawed hand.
She says, "Please allow me for a moment." And she starts chipping at like this just very rough looking stone layer that forms this dwarven statue silhouette. And you can hear just go
The camera pans over and Ace is gnawing at one of the limbs of this character with her sharpened teeth.
Sure. And you can see that there's almost like this. It almost appears obsidian at first, but there is like a blueness to the underneath stone layer as she chips away. This just a small little layer off, like little piece comes falling off, and through that opening you kind of see this almost blue onyx stone underneath, making up a much more crisp outline of a dwarf silhouette. And there's almost like a dancingness in the sheen surface that reveals itself here. And she says, like just in this whispered tone, almost underneath her breath, but all of you hear it, and you can hear her say, "The dragon of statues."
Ace marches forward. Look, lady, if you could do this to anybody, if you could just turn them back from stone into regular people, why don't you go help fucking Hangar?
This
Why-
is clearly not a regular person so much as an outer, very thick, crusted layer of just almost like
No,
mud
it's
caked.
still stone.
You thought it was like gray stone on the outside, but it's almost like a crusty shell that this thing's accumulated over who knows how long.
Look, lady, what are you trying to pull? We said turn to stone. This is just a bunch of mud piled up on this guy. This is fucking shit all over him.
She kind of reels around towards you, still in this sort of gasping shock state. She repeats, "The dragon of statues is not a joke, tiefling."
We asked for stone people. You gave us some guy kicked in fucking shit.
Palandor says in Elvish, so just cut right to this. What is the Dragon of Stones? Statues, not stones.
She her mouth just stays open agape for a minute before she kind of turns her glare away from Ace and looks back at you and says, "No one alive that myself or any members of the Harpers have ever known have told a living tale of the Dragon of Statues. The only thing that we've heard numerous times, enough to believe it to be true, is that the Dragon of Statues turns living creatures into this pure, dark, blue obsidian stone. She's allegedly plagued numerous areas over countless years, but appearances, reports of such things have come and gone with the ages. This is the first I've heard or even thought of the tales in 100 years."
And who turned her back into not obsidian?
Says what
Sister
now? There's very much still a dwarven statue here, but again, imagine if you took an action figure, dragged it around in gray dirt mud, and let that mud form a rock solid shell around it for who knows how many years, and it's a rock-like crust that's frozen,
okay.
that she's delicately chipped away.
So it's taking the mud off of a blue obsidian.
Right, and now
statue.
imagine that over countless years in the frozen north, and you've got yourself a very rock-like, very normal statuesque like outer crust here.
And this is Sister Garael doing this?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a cure? Is there a way to reverse this?
I have no idea. She says, whatever the case, we should treat this dwarf delicately and take him somewhere safe to be studied or examined.
Alright, Ace gets on the level. Look, what's the deal? Why was this guy placed in the middle of town?
He was in the giant's bag.
He was in the giant's bag, bro.
Why was okay, shit. He was in a giant's bag?
Yeah, dude, that was the random rolled shit that.
Yeah.
Totally random.
Okay.
Sister Garael, is this something that could be studied at the House of the Triad, or do you have a place that is safer?
That would be a good place to keep it for now.
Very well. And Palandor picks it up with his huge bulging muscles and carries it delicately.
Okay.
Almost slips on the ice, but catches himself.
No, don't drop it. She helps, well, if not carry it, escort you there, and exchanges a few words with the priest. They arrange like a protected chamber to keep it in for now.
Where's Hangar right now?
Hangar's back in the tavern.
Can we go to the tavern with this thing?
You can,
not
with the statue.
All right, I want to go find Hangar and bring him to the statue. That's what I want. That's what Ace wants.
So you talk about this with your companions?
Look, companions. There's this guy Hangar. He claims that his entire barbarian clan was turned into stone. And we just happen to have this guy who was caked in mud, who's turned into blue obsidian inside a bag. Maybe we can compare the two. Let's see if his tribe looks like this guy who got turned into stone.
Oh, I do believe it's actually the same thing. Same thing happened to the dwarfsies as it did to his village.
Yeah. Sister Grail seems slightly terrified, but immensely concerned, and basically implores you to look into this barbarian's tribe to see and confirm if it's one and the same. And she kind of goes on to say, like, I can't. This is all so strange. The giants, this statue. Something deeply terrible is happening up here in the spine of the world. If this truly is the dragon of statues, or even something similar to that foul magic, then these giants are only but a part of our problem.
Well, perhaps Ace is right. Let's go get Hangar. Let's confirm that this is what happened to his village, and then we'll at least have more information.
Okay.
Is the dragon of statues like a legitimate dragon? Like, are we talking about a dragon, or nobody knows? They just like, could it be an old lady dressed up as an old lady?
Other than the repeated stories that sort of let them confirm, that these statues were somehow connected to this dragon of statues. Every report that they had heard, and again, it was crumbs, pieces, but every report talked about a massive blue dragon, like some demonic terror, when they described this thing.
Ace speaks up. I've heard about this giant blue dragon. Perhaps it is the Frost Maiden that has cursed Hangar's tribe. Perhaps they are one and the same.
That would be a first.
It has also been told that cannibals worship the Frost Maiden. Perhaps the Frost Giants are cannibals, and they worship the Frost Maiden, who is this person who has cursed his tribe and turned them into stone. Pale blue flesh, as it was said.
Who is the Frost Maiden?
He's also known as the Frost Bitch, as the Frost Giants have called her.
We know of her.
Yeah.
Ace reviews her notes thoroughly.
I got all my notes, and I remember we talked a lot about her, but I don't remember if she's like a giant.
Her name is Arl, the Frost Maiden, the Ice Bitch.
Yeah. The Sister Grail goes on to basically say, like, who knows truly what forms gods take. But she's never heard tell of Oral, the Frost Maiden, as you call her, taking the form of a blue dragon. But that's not to say that anyone or anything wouldn't associate the two, seeing as how both kind of praise the cold. But yeah, I mean, it seems like she doesn't seem to find the connection, at least immediately.
All right.
It sounds to me like we should find out who's turning people into blue stone. And this dwarf is the key. We should compare and see if this man's tribe was turned into blue stone, the same blue flesh that we see before us.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So you're gonna go bring Hangar back here to the house tribe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also gonna pee.
I have a question. What's the other dragon's name? The one that we
Cloth?
met.
Oh, the one that you met?
Yeah. Our buddy, our friend, the gold
Oh,
dragon.
Felgalos, the bronze dragon.
Felgalos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as we're walking back, Calendar asked Sister Grail if Felgalos would know anything about this dragon.
That is a good question. If anyone would know more within my network, it's likely Felgalos. Not only is he a fairly intelligent dragon, but he spends much of his time in Candle Keep, which she describes as like the biggest library in Faerun. If you were able to reconnect with Felgalos at some point, he might be able to tell us more. Certainly.
Oh, shit, we're getting that flying castle back?
No, I was just saying Felgalos might know things.
I mean, she goes on to remind you that Felgalos flew off from the Tower of Zephyros seeking out another cloud giant named Countess Sensori on behalf of the council to see if she knew anything about the cloud giants or other giants and why the ordning was seemingly shattered and in disarray. Zephyros himself and his tower were flying off to the west to the Moonshay Isles, last you heard, when he left you.
Yeah.
So, you all bring Hengar the Barbarian back. And even from a distance, just seeing the statuesque dwarf, he gets that wild look in his eyes again. And he kind of looks like he's about to break into cornered animal mode. Let's for fun say Raelians here or Brugak. You see this happening. You have the chance to try to calm him a little bit.
Can I try? I've spent a night with him in jail.
Let's give this one to Brugak.
All right.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What are we doing?
Let's give this one to Ace. You could use you're doing some handle animal stuff before with the.
Yeah, that was to tie him up though. Is
okay,
he?
I see.
Well, now we're treating him like a normal person.
You could be, yeah. You could just.
He's getting a wild look in his eye.
He's getting a wild look in his eye at the sight of.
All right.
He insinuated that he's not a normal person.
Charm person, or like you're just trying to.
Yeah, no, just straight up charm person.
Straight up slap him in the face, see what happens.
I mean, it'll calm him down for an hour.
Okay.
Touch him on the penis.
Great. All right. Yeah. Fuck it. That'll work.
And the verbal is like, "Hey," and then semantic is.
You kind of snap him out of it, and he seems to be in this almost placated, sort of heavily medicated state of mind as you remove your hand. And he very calmly looks at the statue, and he just gruffly says, "You found another one." And he steps closer and closer, and then he kind of sees the cracked open bit of forearm that has the darker, almost blackish blue obsidian sort of sheen stone underneath of it, and then his mouth just and he goes into this like almost frozen terror face. He says, "It's the same.
Ooh.
It's the same stone." He just starts breathing heavily and just kind of backs away from the thing.
I tell him, calm down. Calm down. All right.
Ace questions, is this one of your people?
No. None of my people are dwarves.
But it's the same effect.
Yeah, he kind of nods, and Sister Grail says there are dwarven settlements around here. I believe we passed one on the way into town off of the Ten Trail.
Can you tell if this statue is old or not?
Seemingly from the crust exterior we uncovered, it must be fairly old.
So side note, I was trying to deduce if,
Yeah, it
if
seems
this
pretty old. Yeah.
has been happening for a long time or not. Like if this is a recent occurrence, or if it's been like generations of
Well,
stone
Hengar
giants.
Hengar reported that his tribe just got turned into stone recently.
Yeah.
This dwarf looks pretty fucking old.
All right.
But Sister Garael said for ages and ages. Like,
They've heard tales of this dragon of statues.
She's really
Alright.
old.
So this is like a presence
And she's a
that's
pretty
been
old
there
elf.
for a long time. Yeah. Okay.
Don't ever
Alright.
ask her age.
Yo, Sister Grill. How many boyfriends you had? Dude.
So, really filling up that quest log,
Yeah, dude. Seriously. I
even
don't know
more
if we
so
want-
than I anticipated.
He just wants to fill up a little bit more.
I'm not sure like where to prioritize all of.
Yeah.
mean, Hengar,
I mean, let's
probably.
say out of character here. Let's real talk this a little bit. And I know like some of the sprawl in the past has been unclear, and hopefully we'll get it tidied up a bit more. But in
It's been
terms,
pretty clear.
okay, all right. In terms of sort of main thing you're on the hook for, and that doesn't mean you have to do anything. You truly never do. But main thing that this council, Sister Grail being a part of it, wanted you to take involvement in is really finding out what happened with this ordning. And as we talked about earlier, like there are numerous major settlements all over Faerun that are under attack from frost giants, stone giants, hill giants, frost giants, blah 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 blah. And you all basically got to choose one of three areas that they deemed to be a defensible region, a region where you could go lend your aid and hopefully learn more. So truly, your only real objective from the council was to try to unearth the true reason that this ordning shattered. And in this case, since you're in the north, your only real lead is to look into the frost giants.
So we should have asked that guy.
I mean, that being said, many frost giants fled the battle. Not all of them were killed. Only a couple of them were killed in addition to the ones that you fought. You also were informed that plenty more of them were building long ships and gathering at the Sea of Moving Ice and serve under this Jarl that he mentioned.
Like I feel like we have like a lot of.
You got a lot going
like,
on. You got a lot going
yeah.
on, and it's truly, and this is kind of like and this new territory for me as a DM as well, but also for you. I would say like Act 1 was very much like a more traditional kind of semi on rails, or at least very clear sort of quest. I think it's interesting and kind of an opportunity in Act 2 in that you can't do everything. Aside from all of this stuff, many of you have very personal things to your characters as well that might be of importance. And you're truly going to have to pick some things, because I will say that many things are moving and happening in parallel to you, and the things that you choose to do or don't do will have implications.
So, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is super personal, but how do I go about getting my griffin trained?
Oh damn, it's personal.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well, it's like literally like in the opposite direction and not having anything to do with the plot yet. I need to do it, otherwise I'm like
not
Kind of falling behind.
not entirely true. Here, let me.
Yeah, how do I
had
get my
a-
skin suit leveled up?
What the fuck is your skin suit? I need to know
Right?
what
That's
this
what I'm
is.
saying. I don't know. I just keep sacrificing shit to it.
Don't you remember?
But is this like a homebrew thing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
Do you remember when
Yeah.
Zephyros gave Ace the skin suit, right? Like it absorbs stuff. Like we don't know what it does. It absorbs things. It can do things. So it really is just like experiment, see what happens, kind of thing.
It hasn't quite done stuff yet, but I know that if I sacrifice things to it, I feel better. That's what I'm doing.
How about I give you here? Look in the Google chat. Make that.
Skin suit +1 to agility.
Fire Shear is not very far from you guys. You're in the 10 towns on that map. You pretty much flew past, or flew at least near Luskin and kind of near Fire Shear on your way to the 10 trails that went into the 10 towns off from there. I have a better map that I can show you later, but
Wait, I'm not seeing this map.
it's in the Google
It's
chat.
in Google Chat.
Oh,
Fire Shear is the closest place that you're aware of that has a Griffin trainer, one that was referred to you by Zephyros and Radoth.
Where is Waterdeep?
Super far south.
Waterdeep is pretty damn far south. So back where you guys
Oh.
were originally,
Yeah, that's where I
you
thought
were
it
near
was.
Neverwinter, and it was the next major city south of that. And Palandor, you would know where Waterdeep is because it's not very
That's-
far south from Anfale, where your town got fucked up by some fucking
Wait, hold up.
giants
where are we
and
right,
some Dark
right now?
Rider.
I want to find that Dark Rider.
You know
I've
what?
a-
Here, let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let me add a map into Roll20. Keep asking questions, and I'll get that up in a minute.
I have a billion questions. Where are we
Sure.
right now?
You are in Bryn Shander.
I
Where's
don't
Bryn
see
Shander
that.
on your map?
It's not
Next to 10 towns?
It's one of the 10 towns. That's just like
Okay,
a zoomed
okay.
out view.
Because I was gonna say like 10 towns is a literal place on this map versus
Yeah.
like 10 towns that I thought it was.
Well, it is referred to. It's kind of like this big ring of towns.
Okay.
Let's have some fun with maps. Keep asking questions while I
Okay, I
upload
have another
them.
question.
Sure.
You were saying this is the end of Act 1?
No, the end of Act
Um,
1 happened basically in the Tower of Zephyros.
This is we're in Act 2.
Okay.
You're on like the first few pages of Act 2, essentially.
Yeah, we're getting
So-
our quests.
Alright, and so, okay, so Act 2 began with Zephyros being like, you gotta go north and then pick a place.
Yeah.
And we picked a place, but I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And then also, right when we got here, it's like, oh, this town's also being assaulted by giants,
that was
and
the
we can
very
or
main...
cannot get involved.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can appreciate that. So I mean, like the very main reason you were picking a town was because Zephyros basically used a scrying device where he said he was seeing all of these moving forces, and they had different giant types assaulting areas around 3 different towns, and they wanted you all to pick one, go there, help defend against what they thought was going to be an inevitable attack by the giants, but more importantly, figure out what the fuck was going on after the fact, which is exactly where we are right now.
Got
I
it, got it,
remember
got it, okay.
Cloth was like this big frost worm or whatever, and he was like the main big shit.
There
Right.
was a pit stop along the way to the Spine of the World where you all ran into this dragon cult, and there were these dragon cult members flying on large vultures.
Yeah,
I
we
was
fucked them
there for
up
that
because
one.
they were newbies.
And they
were-
claimed to be representatives of a dragon cult who worshipped cloth. Ruler of the
material?
Clothen, no, like Klauth,
Got it.
ruler of the Clothen Vale, and the most ancient living red dragon in all of this plane of existence.
Okay.
And it was deduced from what they told you and a conversation with Zephyros that this red dragon was probably watching and scrying on all of these giants. And during the time that you all passed through that completely flattened ruined city near the Banshees Forest, back near Phandalin, where there were giant scorch marks and giant footprints. That he was probably watching these giants and stumbled upon you when you activated this ancient magical tower. And basically, there were numerous times that Zephyros sort of indicated that when he was sort of pervily scrying on you and watching you all, that he kept having interference, as if something way more strong and powerful had been kind of blocking and interfering with his attempts to watch you all. And after you all had this encounter with this dragon cult who spoke of cloth, similar to Sister Grail kind of having a freak out moment, Zephyros had a little bit of a freak out moment at the mention of him, and sort of bought the story of these dragon cultists that this dragon might be watching you for whatever reason, whatever his intentions are. I don't know that there was really a ton of information gleaned about the dragon, other than he sort of like broods about in this vale, and claims domain over most of the north, which you are all now in. The dragon cultist also promised that Cloth was going to be making some sort of additional offering to you all as a gift, in return for some sort of expected assistance or servitude.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
In
So
many
wait,
words.
Cloth is the bad guy, and he expects us to serve him somehow.
Well, he's not the
Cloth,
bad guy.
Cloth
but
has
he
not really
rules.
presented himself as a
Yeah.
bad guy so much as a interested party
He
among
basically
several
rules,
others.
He rules the north, and then we're just go poking him with a stick. We're basically fucking
Okay.
around with the north, but he
I mean-
rules it. So it's like we're disrupting.
If
what's
you
going on.
remember, we didn't have a choice. It was like if you want to pass through any of his territory, which
Yeah,
we had
that's true.
to get to the north, we
Yeah.
we had to agree. And besides, maybe
Sure.
he can answer questions about who the Dragon of Statues is.
Interesting thought. Another,
Oh shit! DM hit plus
interesting-
10, plus 20.
Another ancient dragon.
So I have a question. So when we got here, this town was under attack by giants, but it seemed to be like I thought we were absolutely fucked. Like there was absolutely no chance. But as soon as we downed their leader, then they all just sort of walked away. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was definitely fighting among all of the other sort of parts of the perimeter of the town. There's numerous guard towers that sort of ring the city, and there were a lot of casualties. It seemed like, from what you could tell and from what you heard back in town, that there was probably only maybe one or two other frost giants felled, other than the two that you all killed. But yes, when essentially you all finished your fight, you clearly had the leader of this attack group, and most of them retreated back into the mountains.
So what I gather from it is that, like the ice bitch, like the main chick or whatever, the big giant, she's basically hiring all these other super giants to like go out and find this ring for her. And then we don't know her motive yet, but she's basically like the leader, and there's all these other giants working under her as like a subcontractor.
Wait, so that giant we killed is a female?
No. It's a male. But he's working for like this other chick. Let me look for her name.
I mean, we don't know if she's the Jarl or not.
Here.
No. We don't know for sure, but she's definitely like above them. It's
Okay.
basically the deal.
I don't know. Let me try doing this. I think this is
Uh,
the most
Arl,
most spoiler-free map I have is actually on. If you go to.
Arl the Frost Maiden. She's able to turn people into blue stone that we just confirmed. And then she's sending all these other people out to find this ring. Basically the deal.
So real quick, go here and then click on the little map tab and change the map to Sword Coast full.
Well, I'll do it.
And then you can kind of, there's controls. You can full screen it in the bottom right there, and you can just left-click pan around and zoom in and out.
Oh shit! I don't. I see character creation.
Oh shit! Is there any way to make this shit big?
Yeah. That's what I was-
width-wise.
Yeah. So in the bottom right, there's like a full screen button. If you mouse over the map. You see it?
No, hang on.
Far bottom right, there's like a bunch of little icons.
Yeah, it probably shows up like in a certain.
Here.
Mine doesn't look like yours.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah, mine's.
No.
Let's see. I might be able to do. Let's see. Open a new window, maybe.
What does yours look like?
It's doing like
Neverwinter
embed. I don't know if embed.
Yeah, I
is the
see
thing.
embed as well.
If I do open a new window, it can. Oh, it
A
gets all
mirror
stretched.
of death.
Oh, there's map. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I see
maps.
it.
Maps in the very bottom.
I gotcha.
And then I got Sword Coast. Oh, hey, there we go.
Hey, you have
Oh, got it. Yeah, it'll actually open up a new link.
Dude, Fitty, did you program all this shit?
No. Well, I mean, I just sort of hacked something that this guy made.
No, but yeah.
Just that. Just go straight to the link that it says.
Oh no, that you're looking at like map links. I mean that
I'm
works
looking
though.
at a map.
That,
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, no, don't. Ew. Oh, why
Oh,
is
I
that on
clicked
here?
it. I clicked it.
I mean, that's fine.
I see everything.
No,
omnipresent.
that map's okay. That map's okay actually. Yeah, my buddy,
I see the Evermeet.
my buddy made that one.
Ever meet?
I see the
Is
purple
that, I see.
rocks.
I got Bryn Shander up there
Yeah, that works. That's fine.
next to 10 towns.
That will do.
I see the Sea of Moonshine.
So okay, I have a question. All right,
Yeah.
so Act 2 is us.
Yeah. That's what when we got
obey-
we got in. Sorry, real quick. We got into some nitty gritty tonight because it was kind of fun. But tonight, I mean, was mostly. I really want it to be like more like this. Like let's assess the pieces mostly out of character and actually talk about a plan.
Sure. Yeah. No, this is cool.
Yeah,
and I'm
well-
just trying to like figure out what are the pieces that are on the board.
Totally.
Because there are a lot of names.
There are a
and
lot.
A lot of these names do not matter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which ones matter.
Yeah. And
So-
I do want to, and it might be a little longer before
I mean, they
get to it,
matter.
I
They're
do-
just not like not.
no,
they're not our
no.
goal.
Well, like much in the vein of like a Baldur's Gate RPG or like Divinity or something. Like a more computer RPG.
Shit, dude, I don't play
or
those games.
or World of Warcraft. I would like to eventually have like an in Roll20 sort of quest log that you all can. If you unlock a thing, I would just put like the title in there, and you all can put your own notes on it and stuff. But anyway, we don't have that yet, so let's just talk about it.
So I've got a thing that
Mhm.
I think would be good for us. So basically we're looking for like Artist Simber, right? Like the Frost Giants wanted Artist Simber, and they were like, hey, he's got this ring, and we didn't find Artist Simber, but we found his son, and his son wants to go to Luskin, and Luskin is like a pirate city, and it's ruled by 5 high captains, right? So this is basically like Pecktown. And if we bring his son to Luskin, then we get to explore Peck and try and figure him out, and we get to see if we can figure out whatever the fuck his son wants, right? Like maybe we get that ring, and then we can prevent the Frost Giants from
But-
fucking over the entire coast.
But doesn't he want to go to Luskin just so he can go to Waterdeep? I thought that was the whole point.
Oh, is he trying to say
No.
deep?
This guy, that guy was saying basically he wanted, if you all were heading south to Waterdeep or anywhere south, that he wanted to go to Luskin and basically just disappear.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
but
he,
we
his
don't-
destination is Luskin. I
Yeah.
remember you saying Luskin, but
Yep.
I thought
It's,
that.
it's basically a breadcrumb to say like, hey, you should go figure out what the fuck Peck wants. Plus, this guy is a like he's the son of this guy who had a ring
Yep.
that's gonna bring the end of the world.
And yet, the only problem with going to Luskin right now is it's the opposite direction of our main quest, which is to find out what happened with the Ordning. I thought the Ordning was our main quest.
Well, it's kind of the same, right? Like we don't know what the ordering is. Like it's basically the Frost Giants meeting up and saying like, hey, I want to fuck these people over. but we have like
Yeah.
figure out why they want to fuck over everyone, or figure out the solution to everything. It's like you could go either way. It doesn't really matter right now.
I guess, I mean, to put it plainly, like in metagame, whatever, out of character speak, and we can assume this is all your characters asking and gleaning information over the span of several days of healing in Bryn Shander. But for the sake of it, let's just fucking talk like people tonight, just because it is a lot. The ordning and finding out the true cause of it, or trying to find a solution to it, is probably quite a ways off, we'll say. But right now, you all have been tasked and sort of expected to at least be on the hunt for that kind of stuff, at least in the back of your minds, kind of more big picture stuff.
Wait, hunt for ordning?
The ordning was described as it's basically the caste system of giants, and for whatever reason, for the past several hundred years, they've adhered to this system. Which typically means there's someone at the top of the pyramid keeping them in check. And,
a Jarl, if you will.
And for whatever reason, they're all just doing whatever the fuck they want, all seemingly around the same time. Just invading everywhere, attacking everywhere.
Oh, I see.
But they're attacking everything, and then we thwarted these people who are looking for a ring.
Yeah,
So it's kinda-
that these frost giants were looking for this ring, yes.
Yeah, and then we found the son of the person who's supposed to have this ring, and he wants to go to a specific place.
I got it. So they don't actually need Arctis Simber. They just need some ring he has?
Yeah. And we found the son of the guy who has the ring. So it's like, hey, let's
okay.
follow this dude, and then maybe he'll lead us to the ring.
I mean, if we want to get real freaky, like real freaky.
Oh, I do.
Let me pull something up.
There's a picture of a ring.
There was a letter you read a long time ago.
Oh shit.
From one
Glassstaff.
Yarno Glassstaff, who you thought was just this weak little wizard.
We killed him in 2 shots.
And
that
then
was the one we were fighting.
You killed him in 2 shots,
dragon,
and then you realized that he wasn't dead, and he was this crazy red wizard who just encapsulated Gungeon Rockseeker inside an earring and laughed at you all pitifully as you
that guy.
scratched at
But then we fucked
his
him again.
magic walls. No, you definitely did not.
He escaped.
He did not. You escaped.
I tried to do some shit to him, and he counterspelled me. And counterspell is a huge spell.
Yeah, but we would have fucked him.
You escaped, and all of you at the time were rightfully terrified. At least your characters were.
No terror.
Okay.
So yeah. So what's the deal with the red wizards? Are they involved in this?
I don't know.
We keep running into them. Like we ran into them at like a tower. We know like Yarno is one of them. Like they keep popping up, but we don't know quite how they're connected.
They're not exactly like hidden agents. They're just there.
We asked like the big giant in the tower what the red wizards were, and he was like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like basically they're just like this hidden force that we don't know anything about.
I mean,
They're not disguising themselves.
The original letter you got from Glassstaff was addressed to Nesnar, the Black Spider, and it said, "The ordning is shattered, and I have secured my new position as an advisor. You must head north as soon as the forge is taken care of. The Jarl has a lead on the ice that never melts, and our queen cannot allow them to have it. You can enjoy yourself with the Lord in his gambling boat when this is done. Lady Imrith."
Are you fucking kidding me, City? Are you fucking
fucking-
George? Are you George Lucasing right now?
The first time you were in the Red Brand Keep, you read that letter. And
You're George Lucasing us.
I don't even know what that means.
What do you mean?
It's like I had the
context.
whole thing planned out from the start.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. Quick little nitty gritty. So we killed the leader of the giants in this invasion.
Yeah.
And we searched
Kind
his
of.
body, and he had like no letter or fucking any
No.
way for him to have an order to attack this town.
He's not the leader. He's kind of like a goon for the lady giant, and he had a frozen in time bluestone person in his pouch.
Sure, but like, he was the biggest one, right?
He was
He
the
was.
biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, and
As soon as
upon
we-
his fall, that the rest retreated.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he has to have like orders on him to do this thing.
He didn't have any orders on him. I mean, he
They're
did.
probably verbal
He did have quite a conversation with Palandor.
and apes.
Okay.
Like basically he was a lackey. Like he was like the head lackey looking for this ring, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. I need to find this ring no matter what.
I mean, he basically revealed that him and his forces were seeking the ring for their Jarl so that he could
Yeah.
cast all of the realm into an ice age that would last forever, and
Yep.
that more of his people were basically gathering in and building long ships all through the sea of moving ice.
I
mean, he's
see.
he's kind of a hero, really, for the ice giants, right?
Yeah, Frost
Well, he
Giants,
got
but-
defeated, so maybe not.
Maybe
a
not.
hero.
Maybe not.
So, our goal is to either like go for the Jarl, or follow Arctis Simba's son.
Yep.
So those are two options. I heard there was a third one.
Cloth and
That-
Veil.
I mean, just to put some proper perspective in here, like, you guys are great and all. Don't get me wrong, but
You're retarded.
but
We're not gonna kill.
but a
them.
frost giant army, a blue dragon and a red dragon who sound damn near godlike in power. You need to really be careful in how you maneuver here.
So like
Uh,
get him from the back. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know.
I see it the same way you do. Like either we can go straight for the source, which is probably not good. Like that's the ice giant queen, or we could find this ring and try to prevent the apocalypse from happening.
I mean-
from trying to find the ring.
Or we could just go kill a couple frost giants, and right before they die, ask them questions. And when they don't know anything, maybe they do, then we collect whatever extra rewards we get, which hopefully we will, and we head south.
I mean, we could
You
totally
could-
do that.
You could safely assume, based on the intel you received prior to getting here, and the fact that a bunch of giants just retreated, that the entire north is probably crawling with various giant forces.
Well, also this town was about to sacrifice a dude to some giants.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like they've got a thing with giants just around this area.
I mean, the guy being chained up outside was more just go die and freeze to death for punishment.
Oh, they
By
weren't
the
doing that.
way-
It wasn't like a King Kong situation,
No,
which they
no.
were like putting him out there to be
No.
sacrificed.
By the way, I plan on clearing that dude's name before we do anything.
So, you're in
Just
Bryn
a heads
Shander. You
Wait, what's his
passed
name? Sorry, Fiddy.
Hangar? Hangar?
Hangar. Sorry, I thought it was Rhaegar. Okay, yeah, thank you.
You're in Bryn Shander, which is part of the Ten Towns. There are numerous dwarven settlements around you, like Kelvin's Cairn, Hundlestone, which is a small town, Iron Master, which is back near the Sea of Moving Ice, and just down at the opposite end of the Ten Trail on the coast is Fireshear. Southeast
Yeah.
of that, looking at the map, is Luskin, the Sea of Sails. The Cloth and Veil is all of this area, though most people kind of fear sort of the region southeast of Bryn Shander, all through towards like Mirabar through there basically. No one really knows where Cloth himself lairs that you're aware of.
I think
So
I
I-
fucked up everything.
You did? How?
I tried to. I hit Control Tab and then. Okay, here we go. It fucked me out of the editor and then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go down. Okay, so Brugark needs to go down to Fireshear to train up, so he can at least.
It's
talk
good to,
his-
it's good to have
his griffin.
personal motives and goals.
Right. But if I'm unable to achieve those, it's gonna feel super frustrating. So like,
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Do it.
You gotta convince your companions that you all should go to Fireshear sometime relatively soon.
And then
Where's Fireshear in relation to everything?
It's not that far.
just south. I mean, it's not even on the way to Luskin though. Like that's the problem. It's not like you can just go to Fireshear for a bit, hang out, and then go to Luskin. Unless you sail there, I guess.
I don't know. Do you know a good
Coastal
captain?
No.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
No.
Could you use your giant sacks of gold to buy a boat ride?
I guess.
Do we have giant sex of gold?
Could you
Would
talk
our-
to the guy who trains griffins and maybe see if he has like a griffin ride for sale?
No, we can't because he's
Who knows?
off to the islands on the
Who knows?
west. I know. I asked. I wanted to crash a castle down on those bitches.
So I have another question.
Mhm.
To get the training, is that like months or something? Like, do I have to park my character there for a year of in-game time? Like, I don't know what this entails.
Wait,
at all.
hold up. Back up.
Yeah.
You want to go to Fireshear?
Yeah.
That's on the way to Luskin.
Well, only if you sail. I mean, you could just
No,
take the
we're-
northern means all the way down, and
We're
You'd-
yeah,
it'd
we're in
probably
the
be
10
faster.
towns. We're in the 10 towns. Just go south. and
we're
then
at
you
Bryn
hit
Shander.
Fireshear.
Yeah. You're Bryn Shander, which is part of the 10 towns.
Yeah, so just go south and you hit Fireshear, and then go southeast and you hit Luskin.
Yeah, it's really not a...
It's really like almost on the way. It's like Los Angeles.
So
Well, although this freeway I'm looking at is called the northern means, it's like a
Yeah.
lot farther north. It's up by Hundlestone.
Yeah. Look, we're in this strange new territory. Like I think most typical D&D games are very much like on rails. This is intended, like I was saying earlier, to be sandboxy to a point. There's still a core main thing, but there's no tangible sort of ticking clock that you're aware of.
Oh, okay. I thought we were.
I mean, like I said, there will definitely. This is a living, breathing world where things will happen as a result of doing or not doing things. That being said, you're very much in the part of like if you ever played any sandboxy open world game, this is the closest parallel I can make is to that. Like, this is your chance to go after personal goals, personal quests, while seeking out things related to maybe your main quest or whatever you want to do.
I say we just head south.
And there's going to be a lot of interesting travel that's all going to be super, super shitty that we'll probably hand wave a lot of, or, like fucking montage through here and there. Because the Sword Coast is a big, big, big world, and you need to hypothetically explore a lot of it.
I'm hoping to sort of just montage training
Yeah.
Grid and Talon.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if Ace got her way, I would drag what's his face down south to where Brugark needs to go and montage there, and then head down to where he needs to go.
Would he wait with us? Like,
Yeah,
I don't, would
yeah.
he-
Let's make him part of the party and like just drag him with us, like he's our prisoner.
But I mean reasonably though, if it takes like months or something at Fireshear, is this dude just gonna hang out with us for months when he's trying to escape?
The Barbarian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing he talked about is not very far from Bryn Shander.
It's Luskin.
it's pretty much on the way. Like we're doing him a favor.
Alright. We really need a quest log with like map markers and shit. No, the Luskin thing is the guy who is the son of Artis Cimber who...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
The Barbarian with the stone statue situation is in and around the 10 towns.
Oh.
Wait, so what does he want?
To find out what the fuck's going on with all these statues that basically are his entire clan.
Oh,
I say-
he's fucked. We can't compete with that. There's some
I
like
say
high level
yeah,
wizard shit.
yeah. I say we fuck that guy. If we find a ring, then we're good to go. Like that's gonna solve all the problems at the same time.
But
if we find a ring.
wouldn't the Ice Maiden be the person doing this shit?
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Like the Jarl.
We need to find a way to combat the Ice Maiden.
But
which
we
is
just
the
said
ring.
like that's super high level though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
If we-
I'm
if
not
we
even going
quest-
up there.
If we quest to get this ring,
we gotta
then we
gotta
can
grind
combat,
up a little bit.
Yeah, then we can combat the Ice Maiden. So let's
Okay,
go get the ring. Let's
how do
go
we
get
t-
the ring first, and then
Right,
we
so
have something to fight with.
How do we tell Hengar
our paladin
to like
so
chill
quiet.
out?
I've already said that I'm clearing
Alright.
Hangar's name.
You're clearing his name. Yeah,
that's
but
the
we
very
can
first thing I'm doing.
take time to do that. Wait, wait.
Take him-
Okay.
take him
No,
with
his name is that he was stealing some shit, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why
We
he
just
was
basi-
chained up.
yeah. No, I gave him my word too. Okay, so we're gonna help him clear. Wait, how
Well,
the fuck
alright,
do we do
hold on.
that? Because
Alright,
apparently
no,
there's
no,
some
no, wait,
thief.
wait.
We
Yeah,
gotta do some like
so-
little murder mystery bullshit in Bryn Shander before we can leave down to Fireshear.
Well, no. So Brenna Alcott is the name of the woman who got shit stolen from her. So the loose end is that she had something stolen from her, but obviously it's not this guy, right?
It was
so
the
we need to,
fucking Weevil,
Right.
guys. It was the Weevil.
well, we need to solve that. Or we could just take him and go south. Like we don't even need to solve that. We just be like, fuck you, let's just go. Like they're not gonna stop us.
That's
I feel like it's easier to just clear his name. That way we can travel back to Bryn Shandir. And I mean, I don't know if he's staying with us.
it's
or
okay
whatever.
if he's wanted in Bryn Shander, but he's alive in Fireshear.
Will they even remember? Like, how much did he allegedly steal? Like,
I made a promise, master.
They can draw good, and they probably have his drawing up on the wall at the police station.
plus, we just saved their whole town. Like, they owe
That's
us.
true. That's true. They should owe us. They'd be like, you know what we want in exchange? Clear this man's name.
Yeah, and he's
then-
coming with us, and
But-
see you later. Fuck off.
The paladin has a little more black and white justice than you guys do.
Oh my god! Ace punches him in the dick.
Just because you save the city does not mean that justice has been done.
No,
Like,
it does!
so
It
all
does
the
for
murders-
chaotic good.
All the murders are like, oh, they're it's fine. I mean, we saved the city, so all the murders.
Only
is
the
fine.
ones that we consider to be fine are fine.
because
We know
Because we
he's,
saved the city.
because
he's
we're
not
the
guilty.
judges
Clearly.
of all things.
he's not guilty. No, he's not guilty. We're just like, hey,
You
pardon
have to
this guy.
prove. You have to prove that he's not guilty.
Because the law.
Alright, so
When
order
the
for
law.
operations, let's prove this guy's not guilty.
Okay, yeah.
Let's have them suck our dicks, number 2, and then let's go south.
To Fireshear.
Yeah,
To
Fire Ship.
follow Simba.
So where
Yeah.
where is
Simba Jr.
what's her Duvess's aunt?
Waterdeep.
Ah, fuck.
She's a captain of a ship down there. She says if you ever go there, she'd give you a letter, basically almost guaranteeing that her aunt would provide you with coastal travel in her ship and accommodations aboard it as well, within reason.
Also, we have the letter. We have the letter for the 10 towns.
Yeah,
For the
but
10
if
towns,
we're
yes.
If we're leaving Bryn Shandir, we need to get that letter too.
Okay, how about this? We go to Fireshear, get the training, get the Griffin trainer to give us Griffin rides to Waterdeep. Then we can get
Yep.
that letter.
Not to
Yep.
Waterdeep. That's way no.
That's way too
no.
far.
Yeah, we
For
just need to go
Griffin
to whatever that
Luskin?
place is. Yeah, Luskin.
Luskin.
Peck
Yeah.
would
And
and then
definitely
we sail
be
to Waterdeep.
Peck would definitely be pretty hot about the city of Sails in the pirate town. Although
Except
he might
also
have
owns money.
he might have some reservations because of that. There is definitely been characters taking interest in him that you all saw in town here that he is definitely trying to avoid.
I'd really like to explore.
How much money does he owe?
That exactly right, and it's ruled by 5 pirate classes. Like I want to explore where Peck came from. Plus, that's where we need to go to find the ring.
Dude, I know what would help. So you said there's several pirate like organizations.
Yeah, it's basically
Yep.
like
Is
if you know like some towns they have like merchant princes that are like the
Yeah.
ruling group. And
I know
they
what we
have
could
a
do.
council. It's basically the same idea here, except it's 5 pirates.
Here's what we can do. Get down there. Get Peck, like, be the hype man for Peck. Get him endorsed by one of the rival gangs to be able to, like, clear his debts for the other gang. right? Like do
Yeah,
a job,
yeah.
they'll pay for it. He gets his own boat.
Like in my mind, like
It's
we
an
need to go to
interesting idea.
Luskin.
He needs
Like,
a
there's so
sponsor,
many-
is what he
yeah.
needs.
There's so many things in Luskin we need to go to. Like we need to get there, and we can just side quest all the way down to Luskin. Like we
Basically.
gotta get there.
Does anybody else have anything? So I know
I mean, it's
I've been
just a
speaking up a
matter
lot
of,
about Brugark shit, but
You mean like side quest shit?
yeah, like
Yeah.
personal stuff.
I don't think Ace does, and neither does Hush.
Wouldn't Ace be needing to find someone who can explain that skin suit?
I'm basically going town to town trying to figure it out. Who I talk to, and then I'm just feeding it as I go to try and figure it out. I don't know if it's good or bad yet, but I'm gonna keep feeding it.
Okay. And Palindor
probably
doesn't need
bad.
anything?
Looking
I
at that
mean-
grin on Fiddy's face is bad, but whatever. I
Palandor
don't
needs
care
to
what-
kill things.
Kill things.
No,
Kill
you
some
need to
things.
kill things quickly with Haste Door. You haven't even tried Haste Door yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even leveled up yet. I thought we were also leveling up tonight.
Can I roll my dice?
yeah, if you want
Yeah, I want to roll my
Is
dice.
it 1d4? 1d6, right?
to. Hold on.
Fucking rolled an 8!
Whoa,
Yeah!
shit!
Or, I mean, roll a
Oh,
d8 to get a
6!
6. Yes. Alright.
Hold on. I don't know if these
Oh.
rolls are street
Yeah,
legal
that's an
yet.
8, because it's plus 2. My hit points are 50 now.
I just get.
Hold on.
It's not street legal. It's not street legal.
If it's the right hit dice, it is.
Oh,
I got
oh,
D8s.
let me roll a 20 then, and then divide it by like 4.
Yeah, it's D6, so that's legit.
Alright, hold on. No. Let's roll for reals.
fuck
That
you.
was for real!
Yeah,
You're
fuck
gonna
you.
take Brugard 6. You're gonna
Yeah.
take Brugard.
I am.
Really?
Because I rolled a d8.
Yeah.
You rolled a D8 and got a 6. Come on, that's not
That is his class's hit die.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Druid,
Oh, I didn't
Druid's
know
D8. Sorcerer's
Druid's a tanky.
D6.
Alright,
Little bit.
I'll take the one then. I'll do it.
Ooh, for RP reasons.
So,
No,
yeah.
You
for
get your
argument,
con bonus.
You do get your Constitution bonus.
I have like plus a gazillion.
Maximum
Give
hit
me a
points,
gazillion HP.
So, Ace, you have plus 3 Constitution, so you get 4 new maximum hit points. So you're at
Which is the-
44.
That's the equal of just taking the 4. So I
Wait,
don't
you're
care.
44?
Yeah,
I
he's
have 50 hit
he's
points. What
he's
the
rolled
fuck?
on every level and done really well until now.
I've done like
damn it.
5 or 6.
Did you already
on
total
every-
yours,
You're
Brugak?
fine. Double?
Did you already total your new hit
I
points? on your
totaled it,
sheet?
yeah.
Ace
Okay.
embraces Brugark and she
Jesus.
hugs him real tight. Real tight. It starts to hurt
Super
a little
warm.
bit. Yeah.
So wet.
And then Brugark realizes that you
moist.
can't compete with that. Yeah.
Palindor,
Why are you sticky?
It's
do
the
you
hit
want to do
points
your hit
leaking
points now?
God
Do
damn
it.
Yeah,
Do it. Do
what's if I take the average, how many do I get?
Hold on.
4.
Dude, I'm a
D8?
fucking paladin, and I'm tanking.
I think I'm pretty sure
all
it's
of
probably,
these
it's probably a
classes.
D10. So for
the
you,
average
it'd
would be
be
6, isn't it?
6 plus your con bonus. So that
Dude,
would
roll.
be-
Roll it, roll it,
that'd
roll
be-
it.
I'm at
you would-
50
you would
hit
get
points.
you would get 8
Roll it.
for flat
8
out.
out of a potential 12.
Yeah.
We both just did above average. Well, I did average, but Brugark got above average.
Every time that I have rolled for my hit points, I've gotten boned so hard.
That means
unlike,
statistically, you're gonna do good this
That's
time.
why-
Yeah.
unlike you, Palindor has to stand at the
No.
very front and get hit with everything, and then
Yeah,
he
but I-
has to heal everybody. So I'm
No, I
taking
cast-
the average.
No, I cast Big Door. Wait, don't roll that. I cast Big Door and I cast Haste Door on you all the time. You roll it. Fucking roll it.
Dude, I'm not
What's your
rolling.
Hey,
total? What,
hey, let him manage his own
47?
character.
I'm at
Ace-
47
okay.
right now.
Ace
Yeah.
casts peer pressure.
So you could do 55 then?
dude, I'm at
As the
50.
tank, I know. I need
Yeah.
as
Come
much
on.
as I can get.
I have
and
as
if
much
roll-
HP as you. You gotta roll high.
If I roll a 1, I am fucked for this. In all of level 6, I will
Oh,
be fucked.
Ace can cast her ability on you while you're rolling this.
No, you can't. So 55 it is then? 55?
Yeah, I'll just take the whatever.
Look, you know who
Yeah.
else has 55 HP? Both of us do. How are you gonna get higher if you don't fucking roll it?
Man.
It's a good choice. All right. So I guess let's marinate on the quest stuff unless you want to discuss it further. But you also had
I know.
you had
know
all
what Ace wants
all
to do.
those things discussed. You had the other guy, Sir Beric Nylef, who was looking for this criminal called the Weevil that apparently he's been unable to find. He thought he was somewhere in this region. Peck had some connection with him in his criminal pirate life, and the guy that basically caused the mutiny on Peck's ship was in close contact and cahoots with this guy around the same time, which was kind of triggering some memories and suspicions. Other than that, the very, very rowdy bar to the north of town that you all unexpectedly discovered was a thieves' den for the Shadow Thieves, which is an organization that spreads far and wide and is arguably more terrifying than a dragon in many respects, just because of who they are and what they can do. Is nesting underneath Bryn Shander, and I don't know that Palandor knows that, but some of you do. And a key figure watching their underground fight club and sort of just calmly taking it all in and handling all of the gold for the event was very aware of Peck's presence, duly noted at the next morning at the town hall meeting when he was watching all of you, particularly Peck. And one of the bouncer guards called Peck Captain, and the tone indicated that it was more than just a joke about his hat, as if he knew who Captain Peck was.
Oh shit.
That's all. For now, as far as I know, the plan is to recover, train a little bit, get some intel in Bryn Shander. We can kind of assume some of these conversations we had just recently were part of that, but we can take it a bit further next time if you want, and then sort of put a plan into action if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is kind of, I know it's kind of weird, it's a little bit different, but there's no hand-holding by me at this point. Like, you all need to sort of try to put yourself in the shoes of these characters. Do you go out hunting frost giants that you want to try to get information from? Do you go on a reconnaissance mission towards the sea of a moving ice? Do you go looking into this tribe of barbarians? Do you try to figure out where this dwarf came from? Do you go look for griffins? Do you go talk to a giant red dragon who's taken an interest in you? There are many options, and you have to choose a path. That's all.
That is all.
Happy to discuss it further during the week or next time, but
Alright.
How about your opinion on multi-classing?
sure.
Ooh, multi-classing!
Yeah, let's
Are
talk
you gonna
about
go Paladin / Tiefling?
Tiefling's a race.
We're a class of our own.
I mean, are you thinking anything in particular? I mean, multi-classing can be very interesting.
Well, okay. I've got a couple of thoughts, but I have a feeling that I won't be able to do the one that I was thinking of, which was cleric.
That would be really good.
The reason why I was thinking cleric was because they get a list of extra spells. They also get, so I could do like thaumaturgy, which would be just a cantrip, which would be pretty cool. But then they also get their divine domain spells. And specifically, Palandor would have to pick like light domain spells, probably.
What's the disadvantage of double classing?
Well, you get watered down.
You don't get your capstone.
Yeah, pretty
What's the
much.
capstone?
Well,
level
for
18
me,
to 20 generally.
Oh.
Oh, you mean you won't get your level 20? Like we're not
Or
going beyond
18.
20?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
usually
it's
if you
really unlikely.
if you dual class or like multi class, usually you'll be in that new class for like at least 2 or 3 levels. Like 3 is where all the good shit kicks in. But if that's the case, you don't get your level 18, which is usually like your awesome shit that kicks in on your first class.
Oh, okay.
All right, well that may have just answered my question.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely. I mean, there's a small chance, but
That'll be
most-
like in 2 years.
yeah, I mean most campaigns
Yeah.
don't even make it to 20.
We're level
Well, I'm
6.
pretty proud of us so far, guys.
Yeah,
We've done
hey,
our
I've got
30th episode.
Hey, I
30th
I
episode!
genuinely have a scaffolding story and sequence of events that would take us all the way into 20 and possibly into like legendary things beyond that.
Whoa.
Do we all
but
die at level 20?
We all have to learn
Let's
to
be
start
real.
asking
Let's be
interesting
real.
questions and think about like if you were lost in the frozen north and you knew all these things, like what would you do? What would you think about? Just start thinking about these things a little bit.
Yeah, if
I
there's
really don't want
no-
to. I mean, it can be a game where like it's very cut and dry and clear, but to me, the most interesting D&D happens like in this scenario, and it's a little daunting at first, and you definitely have to pay attention and be a little bit vested. That being said, there are some things that like I'm riffing this off of like a core D&D thing that I think were kind of terrible in terms of how they set it all up, that I'm slowly trying to correct on the course that we're on. But there's still like kind of like Dungeon World. There's a little bit of give and take in that like just you like asking a question. Like I'm only going to broad strokes things a lot of times. Like it's kind of I think someone said like Chekhov's gun. They did when they described D&D in that like I'm not going to spend the time and effort building every inside of every building in a city. It's going to be if you ask a question about a thing and investigate a thing, then maybe it'll become a thing. And similarly,
No! Investigate everything. Know all
God.
the answers.
loot every basket and crate in
How
every
would I know?
building.
Yeah.
God.
What does the orange contain if I take the skin off?
Oh yeah. But no, I mean like it's more just a broad strokes thing. Like with like playing D&D, I think not enough questions are asked at times. Like try to be inquisitive or aware and think about what might be in the surroundings. And if you're unsure, like just ask about it. Maybe it's something I haven't thought of, and that's to me that's usually like the best thing. Like when someone like like if Peck asks like if there's a chandelier in there, and maybe I'll roll like there's 50% chance they got some fucking hanging chandelier in here or something, and then sure, yeah, there's a chandelier. And like another game I was running, they were fighting hill giants, let's say, and there was a pretty broken, ill-repaired wall that some people in town really fucking were responsible for not upkeeping. But while fighting giants near said wall, this person wanted to flank them. They wanted to ask if there was a hole big enough in the deteriorating wall to like squeeze through and try to flank them while everyone else was sort of distracting them. I hadn't thought about that, but when they asked the question and I thought about it, I was like, yeah, there probably is quite a few holes your size here if you want to spend a turn sort of climbing and going through there. And that, I mean, these are all like just really random examples, but I feel like the balls kind of, or the dice are on your table.
Call them the balls.
Yeah, the balls. As far as doing all that stuff, and then in something that's a little bit more off the rails, as this is, it's going to be hard to pick and plan. But that's kind of like the whole thing with like we haven't really done many games where you're sitting around taking turns keeping watch while you're traveling, or sitting around in the tavern truly in character planning things, talking to people, pulling out the map and doing that stuff. Like this kind of classic D&D. But this is the time to really try to embrace some of that stuff, I think, and sort of choose the path that your characters would want to do. That being said, I know there's a lot of options, and some of the setup wasn't as great as I hoped it would be, but
Ace knows what she wants.
cool.
I have a plan. I have a
And I mean,
hard
like
plan.
it's it's the same old thing too. Like if you're unsure, like choose something nearby. Like start stepping stones. Maybe you'll learn something doing one thing that will lead you somewhere else. Things like that.
There's one loose end that I wish I knew, but if I don't know it, then I'm like, fuck it.
Oh, care to share, or is that for future discussions?
No, I mean, I'll share for sure. The woman who was robbed and blames Hangar for getting robbed.
Huh.
Like obviously Hangar is not at fault here. I want to know what was stolen from her. I want to know why she thinks it's Hangar, and I want to know why Hangar was in the vicinity.
Now that is a really good question.
Yeah,
isn't it? Isn't it?
But
Yeah.
it didn't go that way. So I don't care.
Wonder. Well, she's still in town for next time, maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
And I wonder why the only living person of a tribe completely turned to stone was
Yeah. Why was
So-
he there? Why was he there? Why
Easily
did he get blamed? Why?
blamed
Yeah.
and sentenced to die.
Yeah. Why was I in jail with them? Who knows?
It's a great question. Now you're getting it. Next time, let's talk about that.
I got the questions. I just don't bring them up.
Maybe you need to make a new character who would ask those questions.
We'll call him Hace with an H.
Nice.
Yo, Hace.
Yo, Ace.
What questions you got?
I mean, that's the other thing. There is legitimately no pressure to ever put a character down that's still alive and breathing. But I've mentioned it before, I think, and I've definitely mentioned it to my other group that I run games for. But if you ever want to retool an existing character within reason, it's pretty doable to me. And more importantly, if you ever want to if you think there's a good segue for your character to become an NPC who would still live on and be in the world and potentially you could pick back up again later, you could basically sub out a character for someone of equivalent sort of power and status, if it made sense to you or you wanted to.
Hace bites your tongue.
Okay, so I might actually want to do that.
Really?
Totally.
No,
Totally.
Brugard,
I mean,
no!
Brugark's tale could literally end with my griffin almost died getting cut in half by a giant in my baby barn. I want to go raise him and train him in fire shear for a while.
Wait. No, I mean, I would consider that if training my griffin required taking away from the game, I would do that. But if not, I think it's
No,
okay.
It's part
I
of
do.
the game.
I do have as long as it's part of the game, it'd be okay.
Yeah.
There is one thing though. I took the polearm master feat, and I have never used my polearm ever.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
feel
that's
like
I
can I change that out?
Like, I wish I was an artist,
yeah.
but I'm not, so I'm gonna kill myself.
I went to school for art,
Yeah.
and I have never been able to use this degree.
No. And I mean,
Useless.
to me, there's not only good in-game value to realizing that. I don't want to punish you forever. So I mean, if you did want to keep playing Brugark, then yeah, you could take this downtime in Bryn Shander to train something else instead of that. I think.
I kill myself.
I rolled a 20.
Yeah.
Crazy. You'll just have to trust me on that one.
Art didn't work out.
we can talk about it during the week or whenever, if you want to explore something else for that. But as far as Grimtown goes, I imagined that and I'm not gonna do this forever because I do like there to be some unknown level in there. But since you're sort of fretting over it, I think when you get to Fire Shear, you would spend some time there, not a ton of time. Even if it was just in-game, a week or two, something that we could even sort of.
Yeah. No,
handshake
I just
through.
wanted to make sure it's not okay, if you really want to go train this griffin, you're going to have to
that's not
disband
fun.
from the party for a month or two or something.
No, he's
Don't
got
do that?
he's got very, very, very watered down baby griffin stats and abilities right now, and basically you would take him to the next sort of just beyond puppy level of a young dog who would be able to walk alongside of you and maybe hover glide a short distance and get slightly more powerful with his attacks and health and stuff.
And one of the things that I'm really looking to do is I have spells like Beast Sense.
So that was the other aspect of it when I told you to go talk to a griffin trainer is basically to me that would be a homebrewed sort of thing of someone who intimately knows griffins could probably teach you how to translate that, almost like learning a different language, you know?
Right.
But like
right.
taking the foundation of what you know in terms of speaking to animals and show you how to convert that into speaking with your griffin in some respect.
Right. And I wouldn't expect that to work for like all monstrosities. It's just griffins, basically.
Yeah, no, like
So
you'd probably be
Cool.
able to learn a few basic things initially.
Like
but it was
locate plants or animals. It's
Yeah.
like I want to be able to locate my baby griffin.
No,
Beast
and,
sense, I want to be able to like commune with them. that
even
kind of
more
thing.
important, like on that same
Speak
line
with
of
plants.
thinking. Yeah, like I would think you'd be able to start like some sort of baby steps version of that initially,
Right.
but it would be the same thing. You'd until it's a full griffin, like you might not be able to like fully master that later. Palandor. I don't know if we've ever talked about one of your super awesome
Fedor.
spells.
Which he never
Fall asleep.
casts. Oh, he's right there.
Which spell?
Oh, there he is. Heyo.
Oh, look at those buttons. Your
Dude, I have
find
that shirt.
your find steed spell.
Dave, give me a button.
I have it equipped right now, but it's a 10-minute cast time, man. Every time that
It's
I
a ritual.
want.
No. You misunderstand. So it's a ritual that you need to perform at some time while communing with your Lord and Savior Lathandir. But when you do so, this ritual, which takes 10 minutes, maybe longer depending on how sensual you want to get with your prayers, you summon
get
a
sensual.
spirit that assumes the form of an unusually intelligent, strong, and loyal steed, creating a long-lasting bond with it. It appears in an unoccupied space in the range you choose, and you can choose the shape, but probably warhorse.
It's basically a horse dick.
The steed
let's get real.
has the statistics of a warhorse, but it would be celestial in nature. In terms, like, in the same way that Grim Talon's a monstrosity, this wouldn't be an animal; it would be a celestial creature.
But wait, the reason why I didn't use it, I was gonna use it for the giants. I have it equipped. Like I was totally gonna use it, but then it's not. Is it 10 minutes?
No,
Every
so,
time that I want to do it, you just do the
no.
one ritual?
Like you ritual to basically talk to Lathandir and have him create or send you a celestial steed to aid you in your quest to do good in this world in his name. Is basically the idea of it. So
I
your
can cast
steed,
that.
your steed basically is more intelligent than a regular warhorse. It can choose one language of your choice that you also speak and speak it or understand it.
Are
Not
you
speak it.
kidding?
Not speak it. It can understand it. It's a mount both in and out of combat, meaning you could do mounted combat at some point, and you have an instinctive bond with it that allows you to fight as a seamless unit. And while mounted on your steed, you can cast any spell, you can make any spell that casts that targets only you also target your steed at the same time. When your steed
Wow.
drops to 0 hit points, it disappears, leaving behind no physical form. And you can also dismiss your steed at any time as an action, causing it to disappear back into some celestial plane. In either case, casting the spell summons the same steed, restores it to its maximum hit point. So even if it drops and dies, it just disappears until you summon it again. So the only time that you actually need to re-summon it and spend 10 minutes is when your steed dies, basically.
Okay.
More importantly, when your steed is within 1 mile of you, you can communicate with it telepathically.
1 mile?
And you can only ever have one steed bound at a time with this sort of ritual spell.
Okay, so help me understand this, because part of it is that I only have 2 level 2 spells that I can use, and I've been using Misty Step so much.
So
and
you literally only, you don't even need to put this in a spell slot, in my opinion, because basically it's like you would take a day to form this bond or whatever, and on the next day the bond still exists whether the spell's in your slot or not.
Just
So-
became a god.
does the creature then exist just
Forever.
So I can literally,
You
as long as
are
it's within 1 mile.
through the light of Lathandir, you are forever linked into this thing forever.
Please make your animal a squid.
So I don't have to use a spell in order to use my steed.
Not at all.
In that case, I love that spell.
It's a really good spell.
All of my heart.
It's the equivalent of World of Warcraft where you just fucking conjure your steed in and out. Like, except in this case, it's somewhere on a different plane of existence, just chilling with Lathandir, waiting for you to call it.
Dude, make it a copy of yourself.
That
Make
was
you ride yourself into
That was my
battle.
problem though, Fiddy, was that I thought it would take a spell slot. And I only
No.
have 2.
We never
and I
really
was
had
like,
a.
I'm gonna-
So much has been happening. We haven't really had a chance to talk about it, but
Well, that's
Speaking of-
amazing. I'm
speaking of
doing
which-
that right now.
Yeah, new level 6 stuff.
Yeah, I'm not multi-classing if I can't hit level 20. I put what my level 20 is.
I would. Yeah, if you like your level 20, I would hold off on the multi-classing idea for a while.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Almost like he's part of a level 20 quest. An end game, if you will.
Yeah.
Dude, it's basically Avenging Angels, what it's called, for 1 hour. You gain the following benefits: wings, so you sprout
Dude, yes.
from your back, and you can fly. Flying speed of 60 feet. You emanate an aura of menace in a 30-foot radius. The first time any enemy creature enters the aura or starts to turn there, during a battle, the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become frightened of you for a minute.
Jesus Christ.
So
And
like
then-
the whole battle.
So you're a flying aura of terror
Yep.
for anything that is not as holy as you.
Yeah, attack
Alright,
rolls
let's,
against the frightened creature have advantage.
Let's
So
just fast track this level 20 business, huh?
Let's go ahead and aim for that.
Yup.
That's ridiculous.
Brugak, that is a very interesting thought for next time.
Right? Cool.
Oh, the
Cool.
locate object?
I forgot I had that.
I think I have that too.
I've never played a spellcaster before.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
We should all
So-
dig deep into things, huh?
Wait, Fiddy, I know I don't use a spell, but I actually have Find Steed in my spell list. Does it still take up a spell slot to
No,
have it?
it's kind of a weird mechanic in there. It's like if for some reason your steed died, right?
Then I have to have that equipped.
Then you have to have it
in
equipped
order
as, yeah. In almost every other scenario, I would say you perform the ritual, like, if you're not in the middle of the shit, let's say, and you're, like, you actually have time to rest and sleep and take a long rest, you could perform the ritual and then just put other spells in the slots there. Oh, your mic's cutting out, I think. But I can tell
That's
you.
amazing.
Oh, I thought you said, "God damn it," because you
No,
didn't have it yet. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
the big wide world, mounts, boats, griffins, who knows? But you should all start exploring it, doing things.
That's perfect. I'm doing it.
Cool. And I mean, other than like, you know, basic assessment of maybe sheer terror, like dragon fear and stuff like that, or asking people, like there's definitely some value into exploring and learning that something might be too powerful for you to deal with at the given time. So who knows? Maybe something is, maybe something's not. But you should follow your nose.
The air smells less foul this way.
To the bag of good berry shit.
I used that good berry to its full potential.
Yeah.
Dude, good berries are good.
All right. I'm gonna take off and go to bed.
DM says bye.
But yeah.
GG. Thanks
Let's,
again.
let's try to finish
Thank you.
level ups and planning and doing the things probably next week.
This is good. There's a lot of information. We got a lot of loose ends to tie up.
Yeah. Well, I like clarity. I mean, I want things to be mysterious, but you know, I
For
don't
sure.
want things to be confusing either. So.
No, I
no,
am
thank you.
resolute in what I want to do. So
Me too. I'm all
Yeah.
caught up too.
Cool. All right, gentlemen.
all right.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.